Well, happy hump day, everybody. Another beautiful St. Louis day. Heidi Glaus here with Josh GIlbert, Bob Ramsey, and we have got a lot to get to. I'm excited about our conversation with Dr. Johar because I've wondered often about sugar alternatives. We've got the pink packet, the blue packet, the yellow packet. Is one better than the rest? Because there's several different, kind of sweeteners.
Can I throw another one in there?
Sure.
The brown paper.
Oh, yes.
Little tubes.
Sugar in the raw.
Yeah.
Sugar in the raw. Well, I want to throw that in there. It's supposed to be better than refined sugar, but is it better or worse than the sweeteners?
Absolutely. So we'll talk to Dr. Johar about that.
What about the green stuff? Did you mention the green stuff?
What's
the
that?
Truvia or
the stevia, the monk fruit. They say that that's a natural alternative.
That's the
Monk
one I
fruit.
usually go with because I
Really?
thought that was the best option. But we'll talk to the doctor and find out. We'll also check in with Alex Stone. Is Amazon illegally pressuring companies to raise their prices? This is an interesting one. So we'll find out what Alex knows about that. In the 4 o'clock, Adam Bundren with Lauren Risley Realty is going to join us. And it's two things that I don't think we talk about enough, especially if you're looking to buy or sell a house. One is price reductions. Is that a red flag if you see on top of that for sale sign, price reduced, or is that just a good time to buy? And then the other thing is back on the market. Is that a tactic or is that an advantage for somebody buying?
And can you put it on your sign if it's not true?
Right. Good question.
As a novice armchair real estate agent, Bob, that just shows me that they went to market and
Didn't sell.
were asking for too much money.
Says the guy who put a for sale by owner
we
in
tried
his yard. And how many people?
It did. Tons of looky-loos. Like after a while, I was like, well, get out of here. If you're not interested
That's
in
why you need a
buying,
professional.
we've always wanted to see what a ranch house in Newtown looked like. Well, I'm sorry, lady, but the sign did say
I
open
can't
house.
I was going to say open house means.
I said open house.
I can't believe he didn't sell the house.
I can't either, especially
You're
with
a
that
natural salesman.
charisma.
Get out of here.
The charisma, the customer service. So true. But we will talk to a guy who has charisma and knows customer service. That's coming up at 4:20.
He is an actual working real estate agent.
He's the best.
Yeah, he is very good. We'll also check in with Jordana Miller, find out the latest with the ceasefire. And then at 5 o'clock, I'm super excited about this too. You guys know we love David Pogue. We love CBS Sunday Morning. And this past Sunday, he did kind of a 3-part series on companies who are, trying to be more energy efficient. So today is Earth Day, in case you did not know. I did see that only about 26% of the population realizes it. I know you didn't.
I
But
did not.
You scheduled this perfectly. On accident. So we'll talk to David Pogue about floating data centers in the oceans because we are constantly talking about how much energy it uses, how much water it uses if it's on land. We'll talk about a better bread, breeding a better bread, which is something I didn't even think of. And then a concrete alternative that actually uses less energy. So all that's coming up with David Pogue. We'll also talk to somebody from News Nation about all of these missing scientists. I've lost track of the number. Is it 12 of them?
Is it that high now?
I think it is. But either they have wandered off and not come home. Remember we talked about the one scientist who usually, hikes quite often, avid hiker, but didn't take like his watch, didn't take his, I think, compass or other kind of navigation tools, which just seems weird. Now another woman has gone missing who is a scientist. So anyway, we'll get the latest on this. Is it just a conspiracy theory or is there something to this now?
Can we connect any dots?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that weird story. We've got some entertainment news and then we'll wrap this show up with some randoms. Yesterday we started off talking about a bride asking an uncle to wear a tie to the wedding, and then the aunt saying, nope, we're not coming.
I think the story was, did it just say it on the invitation? And we kind of maybe guessed that they took it personally.
Well, apparently there was a response, a back and forth.
Oh, yeah,
there
that's
was a
right.
back and forth. I don't know what it was on, but this is an even worse wedding story, if you ask me. And it just tells you that we have just lost all kinds of semblance of dignity. But moments before a bride by the name of Gemma was set to walk down the aisle to marry her childhood sweetheart, her sister-in-law threw black paint at her, hit her with black paint. Now, the bride said she was able to pull herself together, scrubbed off the paint, instructed one of the ushers to find another white dress for the ceremony. I don't know if she was going to switch.
So this is
for
at a
the dance.
rehearsal? Or?
No, this was the day of the wedding. She is about to walk down the aisle.
Oh, so she was back like in the vestibule or whatever, getting ready to come out.
Ready to come down the aisle. So the woman who threw the paint was sentenced eventually to a 10-month jail term and suspended.
10 months?
Yeah. Which suspended for 12 months with 160 hours of unpaid work. But still.
This is the groom's sister?
It says sister-in-law.
So there are several ways you could do that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Did we get a motive in the story?
It doesn't really say, but the bride said, I just had a gut feeling, a bad feeling that something was wrong when I got out of the car with my dad. But he told me it has to be nerves. So the bride was eventually right. As she heard someone call out her name, then the split second later, the paint was thrown at her. The offender was none other than her brother's wife.
Yeah. Brother's wife.
Brother's wife fled the scene after throwing. I mean, do you want to go to that Christmas this year?
The brother's wife.
Yeah. The black paint covered the bride's hair, face, wedding dress.
Oh, man.
But as I said, she kind of quickly pulled it all together, scrubbed as much of the paint off as she could, and then was able to find another dress to slip on. And she said, I waited for this day for so long, nothing was going to stop me from getting married. And my sister-in-law was determined that the wedding was not going to happen.
What does she care?
You know what?
The brother's
She
wife.
said that the feuding with her brother and his wife after their September 23rd wedding, where she had been accused of trying to trip up the bride, the relationship between the two, even the brother have kind of crumbled from there. And I guess the brother and the sister-in-law were not even invited to the wedding.
Okay. Coming clearer now.
The ushers needed to be better at security.
Yeah, somebody should have warned.
Private ushers.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought, good Lord.
All right, guys, look inward. Which one of your in-laws is most likely to throw paint on you? We can talk about it off the air, but you know that at least one person pops out.
Yeah, obviously, it does for you, is what I'm thinking.
I got a couple of in-laws I'd like to throw paint on.
Now,
Maybe
on a wedding day to ruin something?
No, it's a reception, of course.
Yeah, this is horrendous.
That is just awful.
This is outrageous.
But at least, she was charged. Now, that's one side of the coin. And Bob and I talked about this for a brief second yesterday, and then we never brought it up on the show. But yesterday morning on the Today Show, Jenna Bush Hager sat down with all of the 4 living previous presidents. So President Clinton, President Bush, Obama, and Biden. And it was just, in my opinion, it gave you hope and some kind of, feeling that we're going to get through all of these other things in America a little easier. They all kind of talked about, let's not forget that this is a 250-year experiment. And yes, we've gotten some things wrong, but all of the things that we have done right, and to kind of look back and pat ourselves on the back for some of the great things.
Yeah.
And then try to do better on some of the future. But I thought it was a really great conversation.
I was moved by it. I thought it was really excellent.
I did too. So they were all at some kind of event for the 250, and of course, Jenna has a little inside
She's
with
got some pull.
and so sat down with each of them, and it was just a really enjoyable conversation.
Did I miss, was Biden in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all the living ones.
Yes.
The living ex-presidents.
What do you think, just with as much animosity that is out there today, do you think that Donald Trump, when he's done, is going, because he's not going to their things and they're not going to his, and state funerals, it's a toss-up of who's going to show up. Sometimes they look like they're on good terms.
I don't know
Other
about
times,
state funeral. I think most of them have shown up. Wives maybe have not, but I think at most of the state funerals, all of the 4 former presidents have been there.
And, George W. Bush, when he was in office, there was a lot of, there was a war, and there was a lot of, people calling him a war criminal and all this stuff. But after his presidency was over, he seems to be incredibly likable. And he seems to get along with Michelle great.
Well, he talked about that, and he said
it was really good.
It was really cute. And he said, it was just one of those things. He kind of, opened up an Altoid and handed it to her, had no idea that moment was going to be captured, and talked about how much, he truly does enjoy her and that they're friends. And he said, but the way that the world, or at least America, reacted is how desperate we are to have some common ground, that this black woman on one side of the aisle and this white man on the other side could come together and have a moment of, he goes, that's what we're all missing if we are grasping at that moment. Which I agree with.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of vitriol on Capitol Hill, but then you ever catch it? Sometimes you see in the hallways, they're just chummy as ever. 2 people could be going at each other's throats for the cameras in the rotunda or whatever. And then when they leave, they're going to get a sandwich together.
It gets you, for the cynics out there, I'm their leader. It almost feels like it's performative.
Okay.
I think some of it
100%.
is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But what former President Biden said is, I think we're a lot closer on most of the issues than it seems. And I would agree with that as well.
The presidents or
Just
Americans?
in general,
Okay.
Americans.
Yeah. Oh,
That,
of course.
that it's just we make it this wide divide that maybe it shouldn't be.
We give too much of a bully pulpit to the extremists.
Yes.
Yes. And the vice president of the Cynics fan club, Bob, I think they do it to win elections. And that's, to manipulate us to vote for them.
Right.
And that
but what does that say?
Makes me really sad.
That we can be manipulated.
Oh, yeah.
That's the sad part.
Yeah. Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I just think that's kind of pathetic.
They just, the ex-presidents just seem so chummy with each other.
They did say.
Once you walk out that door for the last time and you take Marine One and you go off to your private life, it seems,
The letters the different presidents leave for each other when they leave office. It's really pretty cool.
And it's a club that very few people
They talked about that as well, that very few people know the pressure. I know what it is like, but specifically, Jenna asked President Clinton about the letter that her grandfather left and how much that meant. But even to say, we're on different sides, I think for years, presidents did reach out to previous presidents.
Eisenhower and Kennedy had a great relationship.
For advice or, hey, what do you think about this? I think it has just been in the most recent years that has stopped.
And there was even stories, and I don't even know if they're true or not, but on the way out after the 2000 election, obviously Vice President Gore running against George W., when they left the White House, they popped all the W's off of the computer keyboards. I don't know if that's true. It might just be just a story, urban legend or whatever. But like I said, and like they seem to be chummy as ever.
Yeah.
So no animosity.
And we should all kind of take a cue from them. You guys know what we have coming up, and hopefully you'll hang out with us, be a part of it here on the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh GIlbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Great story about Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. One of the wives called up and said, hey, we need an electrician. Call Michael Baldy. And the husband said, no, I can do it. Well, the wife overrode the husband, called up Michael Baldy at 314-968-9999. Maybe she checked the website first, baldyelectric.com. So Michael Baldy came out to the house. While he was at the house, the husband says, well, since you're here, I've got 3 or 4 other jobs for you. It turned out to be an all-day affair. They took care of everything. And so, no, the husband couldn't get it done. Good thing the wife called Baldy Electric, and now the whole house is fixed because of one simple phone call to Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. Indoor, outdoor, brand new commercial building, an old Victorian home, it doesn't matter. Michael Baldy and his team of electricians will take care of you. 314-968-9999, Baldy Electric or baldyelectric.com.
It's Julie Buck, and it's just a good time to be alive. There's probably an Only facial right around the corner from your house. This is the best thing going. There's no gratuity, it's one price, and you get 12 different steps of a facial, including a cleanse. They even fix your brows for you. They do some dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, a chemical peel, even a little relaxing massage, some extractions, red light therapy. Then they do the microcurrent high frequency to get that collagen going, and a treatment mask. And then they give you a little hydration and SPF to be on your way. You come in as you are at the Only Facial with locations all around town, and you can't beat $125 for all of the things I just mentioned. And you can go to their website and find out about all the locations and see a video of what the experience of the Only Facial is like. I think you'll love it. Give it a try, and don't forget they have a new location in Creve Coeur right at Olive and 270, right behind the new Chick-fil-A. So go see The Only Facial or go online, theonlyfacial.com.
Hey, it's Jill Farmer for Premier Heating and Cooling. You know how spring works in St. Louis. One week you're running the furnace, the next week you're flipping on the air conditioner. It's weather whiplash, and your HVAC system feels it too. That's why spring is the perfect time to have the experts at Premier Heating and Cooling check things out. Their technicians go through 5 years of training well beyond industry standards. So when they perform a tune-up, they're making sure your system is running safely, efficiently, and ready for whatever the next St. Louis weather swing brings. If your furnace or air conditioner is older or starting to struggle, Premier can help with that too. They offer financing options that make replacing your system far more manageable, and a new unit can mean better comfort and lower energy bills all year long. So whether it's a quick tune-up or time for an upgrade, call the team that knows how to handle St. Louis weather. 636-916-1122, premierheatingcooling.net. Comfort you can count on.
Spring is here, and that means you're going to be spending more time outside and enjoying the outdoors. But your deck, you've been thinking about doing something with that deck for years. Don't wait any longer. Go see my friends over there at Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It's right there. It's been there a long time. At Outdoor Living, the showroom has a great style, great designs. You can get all sorts of options. They'll come out to your house. They'll do a site visit, and when you're ready, they'll build you a deck with metal framing, composite decking, and they will put a 50-year warranty on that deck. That's right. You don't have to worry about staining. You don't have to worry about warping or anything else. All you have to worry about is how much fun you're going to have. They've also got pergolas and fences and patios furniture. Yeah, they got patio furniture at Outdoor Living. Check out the showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It looks like the old Denny's. You're in the right place. Or online, outdoorlivinginc.com for all of your patio needs and a 50-year warranty on that new deck. OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Meep, meep. It is 3:30 on this Wednesday afternoon. Captain Paul, how's traffic?
Heidi, we have two active crashes. We have an accident on 64 East at Mason with traffic backed up to 141. There's a crash on the 255 West on-ramp from Lee May Ferry. 255 North is congested from Illinois Route 15 to State Street with lane closures for construction. And 64 East is crowded from 255 to Illinois 157 due to construction. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rockwood School District. Are you looking for a new part-time or full-time job opportunity? Consider Rockwood School District with openings for custodians, cafeteria workers, and groundskeepers with great benefits, competitive pay, and flexible hours. Apply online at rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. No pill's gonna cure my ill. I got a bad case of loving you.
When it comes to sugar alternatives, is one better for you than others? That's what we're talking about this afternoon with Dr. Ravi Johar, Chief Medical Officer with United Healthcare. Happy Hump Day.
How are you guys doing today?
We are
I'm
all
glad we're halfway through the week.
same. And on these beautiful afternoons, it's hard to come into a studio, but it is nice to get home and enjoy a little bit of the sunshine nonetheless.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Johar, we know the packets by their colors, but is the pink, yellow, blue, or green, is one better for you?
Well, that's a good question. And this is actually one that has an answer for what's better for you. But there's a lot of different things. There's the different ones. The blue is aspartame, which is an equal and NutraSweet. And then pink is saccharin, which is sweet and low. Saccharin is one of the oldest artificial sweeteners. And then yellow is sucralose, which is Splenda. And then you have the green ones, which is stevia. Now, they're all a little bit different. So the first two, aspartame and saccharin, are completely chemically derived. They're made in a lab, and they are very good at what they do. Equal is about 200 times sweeter than sugar.
Wow.
And saccharin is anywhere from, it's closer to 200 to 700 times sweeter than sugar.
Man.
So these are synthetic, and I'm going to assume not as good for you.
Right. There's risks with all of them, actually, unfortunately, but those two are completely synthetic.
Okay.
Sucralose actually takes a sugar molecule. So it takes sugar, and then it changes it and adds and does some things that we learned way back in biochemistry that I'm trying hard to forget that modify that sugar so that it ends up being way more sweet. It's like that ends up being like 600 times sweeter. That's
Oh my
sucralose.
gosh.
So
Whoa.
that's what's in Splenda. And then you have, so one's completely chemically made. One is just a modified sugar. And then you have stevia, which is actually derived from a plant. So it's a plant-based sugar, but it is about 300 times sweeter than sugar.
It
300
is?
times more sweet. It is.
So
It is. But it also, since it's all four of these things are 0 calories, but stevia, since it is plant derived, actually is better for you. It actually shows some blood glucose benefits. And so of those four, probably the best is stevia.
Well, is there any negative to stevia?
There is. It can cause some bloating and nausea in high amounts. And it has, some people say that has a bitter aftertaste, but you hear that about all of them.
Yeah.
Some people have, because it binds, the way that these things are all done is they're made to bind closely to the sugar receptors in your tongue. So when it binds tighter to that, it makes the body feel like, hey, there's a lot more sugar here. And so that's how it affects that. So all of them, different people have some issues. All of them, some people say they feel a bitter taste and they don't with the others. And there's no rhyme or reason to who feels that or not. It's kind of a testing which one works better for you.
So compare
Those are
them.
the big things with it.
Yeah, compare them to just white sugar. Did they come up with these because they were supposed to be a healthier alternative to white sugar, or should we just keep reaching for the sugar packet and just be done with the different colors?
I mean, there's a lot of benefits to sugar itself. I mean, one of the biggest side effects and problems with the synthetic sweeteners is that it causes metabolic imbalances, and it kind of really confuses the body. So when you take what those sugar receptors do is when they see sugar, they think they're getting all these calories, and they're looking for things that, okay, I'm about to get that influx of carbohydrates and sugars, and I'm going to be good. And then it gets the artificial ones. So it's like, hey, where's the sugar? I'm not getting this. Something's wrong. I need more food. So one of the things that happens with artificial sweeteners, it actually increases your desire to eat because it messes up the body's hunger signals. So you have more cravings for food. So actually, in some ways, yeah.
No, I was just going to say I have one more to compare and contrast, and that is the brown packets or tubes, the so-called natural sugars. First of all, is that true? And then secondly, is it better or worse than these other options?
Well, it's just that it's refined. how closely it's refined.
Uh-huh.
It's just like salt. You can get the big coarse kosher salts versus the refined salts. Is there really a difference in the end? No, but some look better, have a little bit of difference. There's not really a dramatic difference. The body just wants the glucose from it.
Yeah.
It doesn't care.
So,
So
Dr.
it works out.
Johar, do artificial sweeteners cause cancer, or can they?
That was one of the first things that was talked about when saccharin first came out. And in the end, after doing all the research and everything on it, they showed that in laboratory animals, in the rats and mice that they checked on, if you drank a excessively large amount of saccharin, you could cause potential cancer in those lab animals, but nothing in humans. And all the major organizations now, the World Health Organization, FDA, CDC, all the researchers have come back and said there's no risk of cancers from the artificial sweeteners.
Got it.
So that's an old persistent thing.
And we had read in years past that diet soda was actually bad for us because, like what you were saying, you drink a diet soda, it actually makes you want to snack more. And so when you think you're saving on calories drinking the soda, you're actually packing on maybe 2 times as many because you're snacking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Exactly. And there's actually something also, in addition to the metabolic disruption that we just talked about, there's insulin sensitivity changes when you use some of these artificial sweeteners. So although you're getting an artificial sweetener in the Diet Coke, and that uses aspartame, which is the yellow one, equal NutraSweet type, it changes the insulin sensitivity. So that makes it harder for the body itself to regulate its own blood sugars. So often you'll hear about people that are on the diet sodas that still have glucose intolerances and can sometimes make pre-diabetes or diabetes more difficult to control.
And do the diet sodas all use the same artificial sweeteners, or is each can different?
Each can's a little bit different. And one of the things to be really concerned about, we talked about all the ones that you see in the packets that you can get in the store and things of that sort. What you're seeing a lot in manufacturing now is something called sugar alcohols or polyols. Now, it's kind of a bad term because it's not a sugar and it's not an alcohol.
So why is it
why
called
they call
that?
it sugar alcohol?
Yeah. So what is it?
I tried to research that. It's a chemical that's been created. It's a type of carbohydrate that kind of has elements of both sugars and alcohols, which means it's the same carbon molecules in that. But it's being used as a reduced calorie sweetener in a lot of foods. So a lot of the foods that you see out there that say sugar-free or keto-friendly or diabetic-friendly actually contain these polyols. And the way you know that is look for the letters OL on the list of ingredients. So if you see something that says xylitol or sorbitol or maltitol, those are all these sugar alcohols. And those are actually being implicated with a lot of issues with health. So that's the one thing that they are saying is these ones are a little bit more concerning because there's shown to be some studies saying that there's increased risk of heart attacks and strokes with those, some platelet issues, so you could have bleeding problems. So it's something to be much more concerned about. And unfortunately, those are not ones that you really notice unless you look at the ingredients. So I think some of the drinks may have some of those sugar alcohols in.
And that xylitol, you see it a lot in candy, you see it a lot in gum. And when I was doing the animal show all those years ago, it's when it really came out, and the vets said, this stuff, just like chocolate, this stuff is really bad for your pets. So if they get into the sugar-free gum or the sugar-free candies and stuff, see if there's xylitol in it, because that's not good. Well, if it's not good for our pets, Dr. Johar, you wonder.
It's got to not be good for us, too.
Yeah.
So to recap, we get our coffee, we get our whatever, and we reach for the sugar caddy, our iced tea. Which one should we be pulling out?
I think if you're not a diabetic and you're not really worried about that, or just the small amount of calories you would get from sugar, I think sugar is still probably the best and safest, and that's what our body is designed to use. And that's really what all these sweeteners are getting the body to think they're being broken down into sugars. So that's what the body is asking for. So I think that's still probably the safest. Then that would be followed by the stevia, which is probably sounds like a much better way to go from everything I've read about it. And then all the other ones as we go along are probably not, there's not a whole lot of difference with them. They're probably not really good for you.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. And I have to admit, I think I first started using probably Sweet and Low because that was the first one that was on the table because it dissolved better in my iced tea instead of the sugar, which you had to stir and you really couldn't taste the sweetness of it. And then you kind of got hooked.
Exactly, because these are so much sweeter. I mean, 200 to 600 times sweeter than sugar. You just need a very small amount of it.
Yeah.
Too. So that's probably a lot of it. It may not have been that it dissolved easier, but there was such little of it to begin with, you wouldn't be able to find it.
And some of these, you open them up and they're powdery, like Heidi said. And I've noticed that, at least with the granular stuff, you put that in an iced coffee or an iced tea, it doesn't dissolve as well as when you put it in a hot coffee or a hot tea. So
it kind of melts.
I was leaning towards the powdery ones too because, it actually works. Have you ever had a tea where all the sugar's at the bottom?
Yes.
And it's still bitter as if you didn't put anything in it at all?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Dr. Johar, we certainly appreciate your insight on all of this. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks. Take care.
Give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. No pills gonna cure my ill. I got a bad case of loving you.
During my appointments with Premier U, we've talked about real sugar. We've talked about real fat. Sometimes it's better to have real butter than any of the other, like it can't be butter and the spray, because our body, as Dr. Johar just said, we need the real food. So Premier U will kind of walk you through all of that, like they have walked me through all of it. And I got to tell you, being a college athlete and constantly either walking or working out, I thought I knew what I was doing. And then all of a sudden, 45 hit, and the things that I had done for 20 years, maybe even 30 years, weren't working the same. And so that's when I called Premier U, and I'm like, what do I do? How do I get back to me? And so Premier U can really help with so many things. They've helped balance out my hormones. They've helped with the GLP-1, because that is something we see all the advertisements about this GLP-1s and the, Wegovy and Ozempic, but what a GLP-1 really is, it's something that your body used to make and it doesn't anymore. At least that's the way it's been explained to me. So it's another kind of supplement that your body actually needs. So Premier U will help you with all of that. It's not a specific diet. There's no crazy workout. It's just results, because they will walk you through all of those things. And then, once a month you go in, like I'm going to tomorrow, and you get on the in-body scan, and what that does is not only tell you your weight, but your visceral fat, which is the fat around your organs, and it also tells you where your muscle mass is, because you want to make sure that you're keeping that muscle mass, and that's why you've heard us talk a lot more about protein lately. So Premier U has 2 locations, one in Swansea, Illinois, one in South County. Both are super easy to get to. You can call them at 618-750-LIFE or go online to set up that initial consultation at premiertheletterumed.com.
Let me tell you about family jeweler Lordo's Diamonds that has been a proud sponsor at KTRS for over 20 years. If you need jewelry, whether brand new diamonds, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, maybe something for the gentleman in your life, a nice new watch, or maybe something for the daughter or the son, Lordo's is where you want to go. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, a family jeweler, well-respected, well-trusted for generations here in St. Louis. Lordo's, or lordosdiamonds.com.
Since 1974, Massa's has been a local family-owned restaurant known for delicious Italian food the whole family can enjoy. Visit Massa's St. Charles for daily lunch specials and bottomless mimosas during Sunday brunch, and book their banquet room for your party or private event. And don't forget to make a reservation for parties of 2 or more for Mother's Day. Call 636-925-2961 or visit massasofcourse.com and click on St. Charles for more information. Serving the St. Louis metro area since 1974 at 4 area locations, choose Massa's, of course.
Mike Lippert here for Lisi Lumber, a family-owned company that's been serving the area since 1872. You've heard McGraw mention our knowledgeable staff, excellent customer service, and the best of woods. We're now producing and delivering custom prefabricated trellises, pavilions, and pergolas. Union-made, union-delivered. Homeowners and do-it-yourselfers are going to love these. Got an idea? Send a sketch and some dimensions and we'll take care of the rest. For the best of woods and prefabricated outdoor dreams, call Lisi Lumber 234-0105 or LisiLumber.com.
For all of your travel needs, you go to the best travel agency in the world. Granted, I'm a little biased. Altair Travel and Cruises. They'll take you wherever you want to go in style. They'll handle all the details. You handle all the fun. Don't go to the Googles. Don't make that mistake. It all starts at Altair Travel and Cruises on Brentwood Boulevard, 314-968-9600. Anywhere you want to go, let Altair Travel take you. AltairTravel.com.
Chicken and Pickle is a unique family entertainment complex located on the west end of Main Street in St. Charles. Indoor and outdoor space for pickleball, public or private parties, concerts, charitable fundraisers, watch parties, and more. There's a chef-driven restaurant and sports bar, pickleball courts with professional instruction, space for live entertainment, and yard games. Chicken and Pickle, where great food and good friends come together. And pickleball is a really big deal. Don't forget to book your private events located on Main Street in St. Charles or chickenandpickle.com.
Attention KTRS listeners, Appliance Discounters has a deal for you. Shop now and receive an instant 5% rebate off your next appliance purchase. 5% instant savings off their already low prices. And you can receive other factory rebates, some up to $1,500 direct from the manufacturer. Huge savings, locally owned, next day delivery, 18 months interest-free financing. Appliance Discounters with 6 area locations or online at theappliancediscounters.com.
Royal Banks of Missouri's local mortgage lenders are here to help you unlock the door to your new home. Whether you're searching for your first house or more space for the family, they offer competitive rates and personalized support to guide you on your home purchase journey. Call 314-212-1500 to discover how the Royal Banks of Missouri mortgage team can provide the right home loan for you. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
10 minutes before 4 o'clock, let's get another check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, an accident on 64 East at Mason is causing a stop-and-go back up to Maryville Center. MoDOT estimated clearance time is 4:20. 64 West is busy in front of Forest Park. 270 North congested from Illinois Route 15 to State Street with lane closures for construction. And 64 East is crowded from 255 to Illinois 157 due to construction. This traffic report is brought to you by Brown & Brown Attorneys at Law. Have you been hurt in a crash or on the job? Call Brown & Brown now for a free consultation. 314-333-3333. That's 314 all threes. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Home equity loans are home everything loans at Neighbors Credit Union. Home improvements, vacations, education, even debt consolidation. Anything and everything you have planned can be made easier with my friends at Neighbors Credit Union. With the flexibility of a home equity line of credit at Neighbors Credit Union, you can enjoy a great introductory rate for the first 12 months. The possibilities are endless. Stop by one of the 8 area locations or apply online at neighborscu.org.
Equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 509288. Call 800-325-2697 for complete account and cost details.
Well, I mentioned that today is Earth Day, and apparently only 26% of Americans know that. But one way that you could feel a little bit better is by enjoying Earth Day is just a nice walk out in nature, and it might have some unexpected benefits. Researchers just did a study. Now, they did it in Norway, where they looked at over 2,500 people living near a lake, and they found that people who spent the most time around the lake reported less loneliness than the people who weren't connecting with nature. Socializing with other people didn't make that much of a difference. The most important factor was feeling connected to nature itself, which I thought was kind of interesting because even when we're out in the RV, if you're just sitting there and you're hearing the birds, even if Marsha's not outside with me, if I, even have a little music on, but you hear everything else, you don't feel like you're by yourself.
Yeah, down at the Lake of the Ozark, 500 speedboats going down the main channel.
You're never alone.
Lets you know.
That is so true. Well, is Amazon illegally pressuring major retailers and sellers to raise prices, costing us more? California apparently thinks so. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent in LA, joins us with this story. Hey, Alex.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, so what California is alleging and the Attorney General is claiming is that they've got evidence now in the form of emails of a smoking gun of sorts in this lawsuit that has gone on for a couple of years, but they're only now making public, that the state alleges that Amazon has been using its influence, its power, to raise prices not at Amazon but at other retailers, and that if they go and they see a product being sold for less at another online retailer, that they will essentially bully the vendor, the manufacturer, into going to that other company and making the other company raise their prices so Amazon is not being undercut. And California's Attorney General is saying that is price fixing and that that's a no-no.
Amazon has strong-armed vendors into raising prices elsewhere or pulling products from competing retailers altogether so that Amazon can protect its profit margins. That's not competition, it's price fixing.
So according to California, they've got emails showing that if Amazon saw products selling for less elsewhere, that they would tell a vendor to fix, correct, increase, raise, or look into the lower price of the other retailer with the threat of penalizing them if they don't get the other retailer to raise their price. And Bonta
Amazon has been coordinating with vendors and major retailers, including Target, Walmart, Chewy, Best Buy, and Home Depot, to raise prices across the market.
So he laid out an example involving Levi's khaki pants. Walmart, he says, was selling them for $25 to $26. Amazon allegedly sent Levi's a link to that, saying that they needed to resolve the issue, that they were hoping the issue would be resolved. And then Levi's, a couple of days later, then responded via email telling Amazon it had spoken with Walmart, and Walmart had, quote, partnered with Levi's to increase the price to $29.99 to match Amazon's price. And he claims that this is a normal way of doing business. They were not suggestions, but directives by Amazon, that if a vendor wanted to sell on Amazon, that they had to get the other the other retailers to raise their prices.
These examples are not outliers. They're part of a widespread scheme spanning years and spanning product categories.
So Amazon, they're denying the allegations. They say the Attorney General's motion is a transparent attempt to distract from the weakness of California's case, and they say that at Amazon that they are consistently identified as America's lowest priced online retailer. They say they look forward to responding in court at the appropriate time, and that they say that this is all false. But California claims they've got proof now to show that this has been going on.
I find it ironic because Amazon, and this is just one example, undercut diapers.com for years, put the company out of business, and then turned around and started selling their own diapers. They sell their own batteries now. They put people out of business by undercutting them because they can absorb the cost for a year or two. But explain this to me. They're not talking about Levi's jeans on their site. They're telling Walmart that on Walmart.com, they have to raise their prices?
That is the allegation, that they would go to Levi's and say, hey, look, you are going to be penalized if you now don't go to Walmart or some other company, whoever Amazon is looking at.
Are they talking directly to Walmart, or are they telling
No,
Levi's?
they're talking to, in this case, to
Okay.
Levi's. Yeah, they talk to the vendor and say, if you don't fix the problem on the other website, the allegation is that then they would penalize them in some way on their site, or not sell them at all on Amazon if that vendor, that manufacturer, didn't take care of it at the other company.
So what would be next if they are charged with price fixing? How does that kind of a legal maneuver work?
Well, likely they would have to promise that they wouldn't do it, and there would probably be a penalty or a settlement of some kind that would be paid at some point. But Amazon is claiming that these are false allegations, that they haven't done anything wrong, that they're going to fight it in court. And so if a jury or a court were to find that this had not been going on, then it would go away. If they're found guilty of it, it's not like a human is going to go to jail or anything like that, but the company would likely have to pay a deal or a fine if it went all the way through the judicial process. But a lot of times these types of things are eventually settled, and then the announcement is made that a company won't do it again. But you have to assume that there are a lot of industries where things like this probably go on. It's probably not only online retailers, but think of industries where there are multiple companies that they have prices on things, and that even though they're not allowed to work together to come up with prices, that the prices are incredibly similar on all those things. So no doubt that if states were to look into other industries, which sometimes they do, that they might find it there too.
Have Target and Walmart released any statements? Are they happy to comply, or are they saying today, that's why Levi's made us raise the price?
Yeah, I have not heard anything from them. We haven't heard from the others that he named there. He said it was a wide variety of different companies. He was naming the ones that they see in some of the examples that they've got. And he's not, at least at this point, alleging that any of the other retailers were leading any of this or actively taking part in it. But he does allege that they did raise their prices as a partnership with, in this case, Levi's, but with some of the other companies as well, and the prices went up.
Well, very interesting, and we'll see what happens. Alex Stone, thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Heard a great story about the window store the other day. Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store, 314-739-0002 or WSWindow.net, told me a story. He had a customer call him up and say that he wanted to replace his white vinyl windows with darker windows. And so, of course, Larry took care of him. So now they're all darker and sort of brown in color. Looks beautiful. They're energy efficient. There was no upselling. They're great quality windows, and Larry Thornton and the window store took care of him. That's what he does. The price is extremely reasonable, better than the national companies because there aren't the layers of middle management. The window store has been around for 38 plus years. Proud sponsor here at the Big 550 KTRS. Windows, and don't forget about doors. Doors can get really expensive real fast. That's why you want to go with a company you can trust. Installation, price, selection, quality. The window store. Window store. WSWindow.net. 314-739-0002. WSWindow.net.
Worldwide Technology Raceway is the only track in America to host a NASCAR event, an IndyCar event, and an NHRA event.
The Raceway features a full schedule on their drag strip, oval track, and Gateway Kartplex. For full schedule and ticket info, go online to WWTRaceway.com.
The track, under the leadership of owner Curtis Francois, continues to upgrade the race experience for fans who come from around the country. For tickets, go to WWTRaceway.com.
That's WWTRaceway.com.
The talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Still no talks or timeline on a new ceasefire deal after President Trump agreed to extend the deadline until Iran can present a proposal. Concerns remain over Iran's fractured leadership and reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv.
There have always been divisions within the Iranian regime. There have always been divisions between, if you like, the civilian leadership, the president, for example, and the military and clerical leadership. So the clerical leadership, of course, is the supreme leader, and the military leadership is the IRGC. I think many people feel that after the U.S. bombing campaign, the IRGC is in the ascendancy. They've emerged even stronger than they were before, and the civilian leadership, which has been advocating for talks, has been in some senses weakened, and you're seeing that tension play out between the two of them now.
With rising oil prices, Europe carriers are warning that they are running out of jet fuel and scaling back on flights. Here's ABC's Sam Sweeney.
European carriers are going to begin canceling some of their short-haul flights. Those are the flights where passengers, instead of flying, they can jump on a train. So a little bit of an inconvenience, especially for those longer routes. But that's the only option right now.
U.S. carriers could follow suit. Republicans reacting after voters in Virginia passed a Democratic-led referendum to redraw congressional maps, a response to Republicans in Texas and other states redrawing their maps.
Speaker Mike Johnson says the referendum results prove Virginia should not have 10 Democrats and just 1 Republican in the House.
This is a divided state. It's almost 50-50.
GOP leaders say they'll fight the outcome in court. This round of mid-decade redistricting, which Democrats say Republicans started, may turn out to be a wash, if not a gain for Democrats. North Carolina Congressman Richard Hudson, who leads the effort to keep the House in Republican hands, was asked if it was worth it.
Not for me to decide that. It wasn't my decision.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
On Wall Street, stocks finished up. You're listening to ABC News.
Good afternoon. It is 76 degrees at 4:02. I'm David Solomon, KTRS News. I'll have sports and weather, plus a look at traffic after this newscast. But first, here's what's happening. Missouri voters will get a chance to decide the fate of the state's income tax at the polls later this year after the Missouri House approved a resolution yesterday to eliminate the tax and replace it with new taxes. St. Louis County voters, however, will have a chance to have a say on its own use tax after County Executive Dr. Sam Page signed off on a proposal to tax online purchases from out-of-state sellers. Municipal League Executive Director Pat Kelly joined the McGraw Show earlier today and says the proposed tax will generate significant income.
At a minimum, St. Louis County would collect about $70 million a year based on actual retail sales. But the unknown number, the big number, is all of the businesses throughout St. Louis County that are purchasing out of state that they're not capturing any sales tax on right now. So it could be, as much as $100 million a year to offset $40 million deficit.
St. Louis County voters rejected a similar proposal in 2022. A former Missouri lawmaker who was censured over sexual misconduct allegations has won a court case to recoup thousands of dollars seized from his salary as a penalty. Democrat Wiley Price IV of St. Louis was punished by his colleagues in 2021 after being accused of having sex with an intern and threatening his staffer to keep quiet. Colleagues also voted to deduct about $22,500 from his paychecks to cover the cost of the investigation. A Missouri judge has ruled that the legislature lacked the authority to deduct his wages and waited too long to punish him. St. Louis County is extending an olive branch to motorists with outstanding traffic tickets by offering an infraction diversion program. On the Heidi Glaus show yesterday, St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Melissa Price-Smith said the first letters went out on Monday.
When they get this letter, they can complete a class, a certified class. Once they complete it, they don't have a fine. They're not going to get any points on their license. Then their insurance isn't going to go up. It really is a way to help people in the community take care of old tickets. Some people have multiple, and it prioritizes education over fines, over any kind of punitive fine.
Smith says the program will not apply to serious offenses, including driving under the influence, extreme cases of speeding, leaving the scene of an accident, or offenses involving a commercial driver's license. And following the devastating tornado that hit St. Louis in May of 2025, the Slate Missouri Job Center launched a program to support both city residents and recovery efforts. The program's scheduled information sessions end next week, but KTRS's Steve Potter reports that Slate will continue to recruit participants.
Slate's Disaster Recovery Jobs Program pays participants $25 an hour to work at storm cleanup sites, removing debris, and working on other rehabilitation efforts. It's designed to provide temporary employment and workforce training for residents who are impacted by the tornado and are currently or underemployed. Slate is also looking for companies interested in participating and are actively working to identify new work sites. Slate's Executive Director, Connie Johnson, says the program not only helps residents return to work, but allows them to play an active role in rebuilding their communities. Those interested in the Disaster Recovery Jobs Program are encouraged to contact the Slate Missouri Job Center. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. This week is Professional Administrators Week. Walter Knoll Florist makes it easy to say thanks with flowers. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. And now let's take a look at the closing markets brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement with Jeff and Aaron Lapidus Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow closed up 340 points at 49,490. The NASDAQ also closed up 397 points at 24,657, and the S&P 500 closed up 73 points at 7,137. In KTRS Sports, the Cardinals managed just 4 hits with Jordan Walker, Alec Burleson, and Mason Wynn all receiving the day off as they fell to the Miami Marlins 4-1 earlier today. Ivan Herrera hit a solo home run in the 9th inning. The Cardinals are off tomorrow and open a 3-game series against the Seattle Mariners Friday night at Busch Stadium. And Mizzou basketball is reportedly heading to Dennis Gates' hometown of Chicago for a marquee non-conference matchup against Marquette at the United Center on Sunday, November 15th. Mizzou also formally announced the signing of former 5-star recruit and Kansas forward Bryson Tiller. And the St. Louis Battlehawks have added some quarterback depth, acquiring veteran spring football quarterback Luis Perez from the Dallas Renegades for offensive tackle Corey Stewart. The Battlehawks head to Orlando to face former coach Anthony Becht in the Storm on Saturday night. KTRS Time Saver Traffic. Let's go ahead and get a check of the roads from Paul Kopsky in the KTRS Traffic Center.
And David, an accident on 64 East at Mason is causing a stop and go back up to 141. Estimated clearance time is 4:20. 255 North is congested from Mouset to State Street with lane closures for construction. And 64 East is crowded from 255 to Illinois 157 due to construction. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rack House in Cottleville. Stop by for brunch or happy hour, or have the Rack House cater your next event with box lunches or buffets to accommodate groups of 10 to 200 people. The Rack House, featuring a seasonal menu and upscale casual dining and drinks since 2014. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
And in your KTRS First Alert forecast, tonight, clear skies with a low around 60. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 83 and wind gusts up to 26 miles per hour. Showers likely to move in overnight tomorrow night, maybe a thunderstorm or two as well, with a low around 63. Right now, it is 76 degrees under the Gold Tower at Westport Plaza at 408. I'm David Solomon, KTRS News on the Talk of St. Louis.
The Big 550.
KTRS St. Louis.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for Marvel Infinity Saga in concert. Relive the epic moments of 23 Marvel Cinematic Universe films on the big screen as the SLSO performs the iconic scores live. Follow Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Earth's mightiest heroes, including Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel, as they face their greatest challenges. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy join the action with their legendary mixtape, May 1st through the 3rd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org. Presentation licensed by Marvel.
When you're driving the lane, you've got to stay in control, and the same goes for your car. When the unexpected happens, breakdowns, engine trouble, costly repairs, CarShield has your back so you can keep driving without missing a beat. Don't get benched by expensive car repairs. Join the winning team with America's #1 auto protection company, CarShield. Call 800-861-6176 or visit carshield.com today. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Wednesday afternoon, April 22nd. St. Louis region's biggest Target store gets an opening date. The new Target store in U City, slated to be St. Louis's largest will open Sunday, May 17th. The national retail chain said it's one of 6 new Target stores that will open nationwide and will be the 21st Target store in the St. Louis region. The Minnesota-based chain also plans to build a store in a new retail shopping center in Farmington, but construction hasn't started on that project. But at 149,000 square feet with a 2-story parking garage, the new U-City Target will be the largest in the region and the largest store among Target's 6 store openings this May. Target stores average about 125,000 square feet, but lately the chain has shifted toward a larger store footprint to accommodate same-day delivery services and a wider range of merchandise. The U-City store will feature a Starbucks, a CVS pharmacy. It will also have a dedicated Apple shop called Apple at Target that will feature Apple devices, accessories, and a trained consultant. Locally, I didn't realize this, 3 Target stores have an Apple shop: Hampton, Wentzville, and O'Fallon, Missouri. The grocery area in new stores is 50% to 100% bigger than the chain's traditional format. And next day delivery from the Target Circle 360 service will be available from the store to all of St. Louis. The store will have more than 170 employees, so it's pretty big.
I believe you're a Target fan.
I do enjoy my Target.
Yeah, we have one by our house at Gravois Bluffs, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good store.
They keep them clean. You can find everything that you need. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Okay, I'm looking at this Target now, the renderings. It's massive. It's right next to the Costco.
That's my Costco, so I've been past it at least 4 times now.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing to put it right next to the Costco.
Oh, I think it's good. You want to knock out all your shopping at once.
They have a Starbucks inside the Target, but there's a Starbucks in the parking lot.
Yes, there is. And a Chick-fil-A.
Well, maybe you don't want to
yeah.
walk all the way out by your car to go get the...
No. If you're in and you're going to, shop with your coffee, there's 2 different things.
And
inundate you with product.
Yeah, this parking lot is massive. Massive. That whole...
Oh, it's a completely new area.
You know, they got rid of Bob's Seafood. I think they bulldozed a church. They got rid of some houses.
A new Deerbergs is going in across the street. You've got all kinds of things.
I saw the Deerbergs for the first. Is that open? It looked open. It's not open?
It wasn't when I was there last week.
Looked open. But this is, if you haven't been down there in a minute, Bob, you'd be like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Where did this come from? And the other side of the highway, over by the sugar fire and everything, that's completely different too.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot over there.
I need to get out of my house more often.
Time marches on. I got 2 quickies here. Well, the first one's quick. Salmon.
Yes.
Exposed to cocaine.
What?
Swim almost twice as far as those without. What a shock. We need a story here.
I was going to say, first it was the cocaine bear, then it was the cocaine
sharks.
Yeah, and now we have salmon.
They got to go against the, the
they
current.
Need they just need a bump.
Yeah. Just give me a little something.
They swim longer distances than those without. UN's reporting an estimated 25 million people used the stimulant in 2023, and it's being found more and more in waterways.
Okay.
So that appears to be what's happening. Researchers took 105 wild Atlantic salmon in Sweden's Lake Vättern and exposed them to cocaine and benzoyl.
Yeah, I hear you.
Benzoyl something. And track their movements, and the river dwellers exposed to drugs travel 1.9 times farther than the clean living controlled fish, and those exposed 7.6 miles further.
They call those straight edge salmon, straight fin salmon.
Straight fin salmon.
Straight fin.
Real quick, this is just a nice little story.
Okay.
Military.
Share.
Breonna Taylor, an Army sergeant at Fort Bliss in El Paso, has made a name for herself. She didn't like her room in her barracks.
Yeah.
And fixed it up.
Can you do that?
She did it. Not only did she do it, she got a commendation from the commandant at Fort Bliss, and other soldiers are now going to her and asking her to fix up their room. Yeah. And she's charging $300 a room.
Okay.
And making a little money, and everybody seems to be happy.
Very cool.
All right, if you're on iTunes recently, you might have seen at or near the top of the list a singer named Eddie Dalton. He is kind of like a old-timey singer, kind of like your Teddy Swims,
What's a Teddy Swims?
You think Teddy Swims is an old-time singer?
Like a soulful kind of. Who's that other guy? Chris Stapleton-esque.
That is.
I'm going to play it in a minute. And you tell me.
But I wouldn't say that is okay.
Eddie Dalton.
Time.
Had the top of the iTunes top 10. 3 songs in the top 10. He's not real. He's AI.
Oh.
There's even a video online of him singing.
Wow.
And it's clearly AI to a trained eye like myself.
Of course.
And I can see where some people could get tripped up. But then again, I can't because
Some not as sharp as you, yeah.
You mean watching it or hearing it?
Watching it.
Okay.
Hearing it, though, I mean, this is pretty good.
I don't move as good as I used to. Some days it takes me a minute or two, but the world keeps turning.
That's
like it's meant to do.
That's a problem.
It's a good song.
Not bad. I think it's more like Motown than it is.
Yeah.
Teddy Swims. But the problem is, if I keep playing this, who's going to come and charge me, for ASCAP and all that? Who would I pay? This is
the creator.
Well, who's the creator? AI? The person who clicked, make me a song?
Well, there are people that are doing it. Haven't you watched the company that produced a reporter and then they did an actress and they've been talking about singers adding to it? It's a company that comes up with these.
But the problem is, it could also be me, you, or Bob.
Well, it can't be me because I don't know how to do it.
Well,
Marcia, your wife uses
she
AI.
still can't do a song.
Yeah.
So, did AI write the song or did people write the song?
Yes. AI did the whole thing. You've never used this for music? I've done this a couple times. I've given it some prompts. Hey, give me a song about, I did it with Finn. We wanted to do pickled banana. And I said, give me a song about pickled banana and do it like a house music version. And there was lyrics. It was really good. There was music. There was a bridge. There was a break. There was a drop. It's all in there. And all I did was type in a couple of nonsense words, and you got yourself a song.
The world's over.
Another problem. Deezer, which is a global music streaming service, said that on a daily basis, they get 75,000 AI-generated songs uploaded a day. A day.
End of times.
Well, I think that there just have to be securities in place at those companies as far as Apple and iTunes and Spotify and all of those different places. They'll have to have somebody that's checking and double checking.
I think when Apple finds these, they're taking them down.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, who do you pay? What are you paying for at the end of the day? But I mean, honestly, though, pretty good song.
Yeah, but I'm not going to listen to it if it's not real.
Me neither.
So let's not give it any other time.
Right. Turn it off.
Not real. All right. You're out of here, Eddie Dalton.
If you were real.
Can I get serious for a moment? Something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is my front yard and taking care of your front yard. Because when you drive by someone's house and it's full of weeds, you think to yourself, oh man, it's very, very simple. You know how much I love to pretend to be a yard dork. You know what I use? Fertilome. I go to fertilome.com and I type in my zip code, and a whole host of local independent lawn and garden dealers show up. I buy the crabgrass preventer plus lawn food. It's the spring application. I get it down on my yard as soon as possible, and that greens up my yard and keeps the weeds away. So it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. But really, all I'm doing is getting Fertilome and putting it on my front yard. And that will take care of my yard for many, many, many weeks, and it go a long way to having the greenest yard in the block. So this spring, you want to green up your yard and get rid of the weeds? It all starts at Fertilome or fertilome.com.
It's Jill Farmer. Medicare is overwhelming. Parts, plans, deadlines. It's a lot. That's why so many of you turn to Ryan Raphael, the Medicare man. Ryan breaks Medicare down in plain English, helps you compare options, and make sure you're not overpaying or undercovered. No pressure, no confusion, just clear guidance from someone who actually cares. If you're turning 65, already on Medicare, or helping a parent navigate it all, start with someone you can trust. For the right plan, call a Medicare Man. 314-368-6808, MedicareManSTL.com.
Great story about Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. One of the wives called up and said, hey, we need an electrician. Call Michael Baldy. And the husband said, no, I can do it. Well, the wife overrode the husband, called up Michael Baldy at 314-968-9999. Maybe she checked the website first, baldyelectric.com. So Michael Baldy came out to the house. While he was at the house, the husband says, well, since you're here, I've got 3 or 4 other jobs for you. It turned out to be an all-day affair. They took care of everything. And so, no, the husband couldn't get it done. Good thing the wife called Baldy Electric, and now the whole house is fixed because of one simple phone call to Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. Indoor, outdoor, brand new commercial building, an old Victorian home, it doesn't matter. Michael Baldy and his team of electricians will take care of you. 314-968-9999, Baldy Electric, or baldyelectric.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Hi, everybody. McGraw-Milhaven here for Jacob Baths and Showers. They specialize in helping seniors age in place with a bath and shower design. They'll replace your current tub. They'll put in a walk-in shower. They'll add grab bars and seats and add a non-slick service, not to mention their composite materials that look like luxury stone and last a lifetime. The great thing about Jacob Baths and Showers, 1 to 2 days and you get your bathroom back. Find out more at jacobbaths.com.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our house in the middle of our streets. Our house in the middle of our house in the middle of our streets.
Well, if you are looking for a new home, should you be concerned when there's a price drop? Adam Bundren from Lauren Risley Realty is back to discuss. It's great to have you back with us.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
I'm fantastic. I love this weather. I know our listeners. I mean, I'm happy, right?
I'm going to be spending way too much time in my garden this week. I'm in love. I love this weather.
Yeah, it's perfect. All right, so let's talk about the housing market and price reduction sign. Is a price reduction sign a bad sign? Is it something went wrong, or is that actually good for buyers?
No, I think it's an opportunity. I think it is an untapped segment of the market that buyers are not paying enough attention to. It's such a weird market. We still have low inventory, and so there are still these bidding wars that are happening between buyers and sellers. But what that does, it creates this false narrative in some sellers' minds that they can just put a crazy price tag on it and they're going to get it. And so what happens is buyers are still very practical because interest rates are higher than they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And so they're going to be aggressive for something that is priced properly, they're not going to be aggressive for something that is priced out of the realm of, responsible. And so when those price reductions are there, that's an opportunity for a buyer to maybe get into something or get into a battle with fewer buyers.
So when you see price reduction, do you offer even lower than that? Because obviously they're feeling a little against the wall.
Yeah, not necessarily. So,
Okay.
I always say that in the first 21 days, you're going to have 80% of your overall traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a price reduction in that first week or two, chances are there's still people looking to purchase that house. And so what you don't want to do is see a price reduction and then say, well, let's offer them $10,000 less, because what happens sometimes is that price reduction gets them back to a good range, and then multiple buyers step in. And so what you don't want to happen is you thinking, well, I'm going to be able to steal this one. And you miss out again. It happens often.
Was that the case prior to this? I mean, we were listening to Frank and Jill today. They were talking to Sarah Fensky, and she said people are still paying way over market value. I couldn't help but think of you, Adam. Yeah, I think of you all the time.
Thanks, buddy.
But before the pandemic, before these crazy markets, if you saw a house that had reduced the price, could you say, well, there's something wrong here?
Not necessarily something wrong. Here's the kind of the fact of the matter is buyers always want to pay less than a house is listed for, and sellers always want to make more than it's worth. And that's in every single market. That's just, I bought it for this, and I remember I finished the floors and painted the thing, and it cost me this, so therefore I want that. It's very, very common. A house is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it. And so you have to be in a practical place when you're pricing it and when you're marketing it. And if you're not, you're going to chase the market down. Now, in previous markets, the competition wasn't so high. And so it wasn't – I remember in 2014 and 15 and 16 when it wasn't so competitive. And you were able to kind of really take some time. And, I mean, I looked at properties 2 and 3 times with buyers over the course of a week. And, yeah, bring your parents. This can be great. That doesn't exist anymore. For something that's move-in ready, you have, in the grand scheme of things, an hour, maybe 2 in a home to decide if that home's going to work for your family. And it can be stressful. And so you have to make sure that you're working with somebody that understands that market, that can say, well, listen, guys, I've said this a million times. Someone is going to pay, let's just say someone's going to pay $450 for this house. It shouldn't be you. Because it's not responsible. It's not, it's not going to appraise, or there's issues with the house that I know your personal situation and I'm not comfortable putting you in that place. There's plenty of agents that are going to put, their clients in a bad position. Let them do it.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so what about when you see a house go back on market? What does that mean?
So it's such a huge, huge opportunity. And that does not mean every single one of them are great opportunities. Because sometimes, especially if you see it kind of what we call it release out, if you see it release out in that first week and a half, typically that means that it's because of an inspection thing. Most transactions have a 10-day inspection window to start things. And so when it releases early, chances are it's for inspections. But it's a phone call, right? It's a phone call to an agent that says, hey, Heidi, can you tell me why 123 Sunshine Street released out? Oh, it's because the buyer's financing fell through, or it's because something else happened. And the black eye that exists on a property because it's back on market is a huge opportunity for buyers, especially buyers that have been, kind of swinging and missing in these competitive move-in ready properties.
So going back to overpriced houses, are banks still not giving loans for people who want to pay over the list price, or say somebody hits the market and they're shooting from the moon and they win $100,000 more than what it appraised for? Are banks still just giving people loans for the appraisal value?
Yep, and thank goodness they are. Right, that is one of the main reasons why we had the housing crisis that we did in 2008 and 2009 is that you had these mortgages that were being offered and given for 110, 120% of value, and then they would balloon and call the loan due, and people were like, "Oh, I can't pay that." It's like, yeah, well, no joke. You bought a house and then bought a golden giraffe with the other money. So what really is important is that when you're purchasing a home, your financial system and your financial situation should speak to your buying strategy. A bank is going to loan what it is appraised for, but a buyer is going to pay what they're going to pay to win it. And so very often that appraisal is not the sale price.
Yeah.
There's a gap there.
Yeah.
And so someone is going to be responsible for that gap. In this market, it's very, very often the buyer.
So, Adam, talking about price reductions and back to market, do you guys know ahead of time that there is going to be a price reduction or that a house is going to go back on the market?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's no button, right? There's no place to search. We have awesome relationships with so many co-broke agents in the St. Louis area just from doing business that it's not uncommon for someone to reach out to us and say, "Hey, I know that you had interest in this house. The buyer is getting a little squirrely. I just want to let you know it might be coming back." So there are opportunities that pop up like that, but you can almost see the properties that have kind of, rotted on the vine, so to speak, to where, okay, it's been on the market for 14 days. There's been no price reductions. I called the agent. There's not a ton of activity. So what I tell buyers sometimes is, they might be thinking about a price reduction. Let's give them their price reduction before it goes to the market that way. So
well done.
Let's look at it and say, hey, 5% less, 10% less, something like that we can kind of go to them and say, hey, it looks like you have to figure out how to word it, but it looks like this might be staling a little bit. I think we see the value in it, but just a little under this. And there's opportunities to win there too.
Adam, can we go back down memory lane on that 2008 bubble crash when people had those balloon loans? They started at like $1,500. Your mortgage is $1,500, $1,500. Yeah. And then once these balloons kicked in, what did they jump up to?
I mean, some of them were 10%. I mean, just you have no idea. It all depended on the risk that the institution was taking, and so what their minds were saying were, this is a riskier loan, but this person really wants it. So the adjustable rate that's going to hit in 6 months or a year is going to double prime. And when it hit, those folks, they weren't motivated by the payment after a year. They were motivated by the car and the house and the whatever. And there just weren't the lending practices that exist now. You didn't have to be licensed in order to be a lender back then. So you could just kind of step into the business and be willy-nilly with it. Not that all of them were, but there were those that caused an issue. And so there was a lot of nefarious activity, let's say.
Yeah. But it could jump from $1,500 to like $3,000, right?
Oh yeah, it could double. I mean, your rate could double. And I mean, in 2 months they were foreclosing.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. I didn't want to go down memory lane. That was an awful time for a lot of people. And as you said,
there were 4 million houses sold during that year.
So there are some safety precautions now in place.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And the appraisal that you guys were asking about, that is one of the biggest, is the bank will not loan more than that appraised value.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. So a lot of what we talk about here, Adam and Lauren talk about in depth on Call the Closer with Lauren Risley Realty. It airs here on the Big 550 KTRS Sundays at 1. And if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, because knowledge is power. Call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684. You can also email her at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com. Thanks, Adam.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Did you see the text line?
Yeah.
Somebody said, I'm loving this guy. I'm learning so much.
Adam's always great. It is 4:35. Let's check back in with Captain Paul.
Heidi, an accident on 70 East past Bermuda is blocking the two left lanes with the stop-and-go jam back to Hanley. Estimated clearance time is 5:20. We have a crash on 44 West past Bowles, partially blocking the right lane and causing a slight slowdown. Estimated clearance time is also 5:20 there. 64 West is busy from Kings Highway to McCausland and from 364 to the 6470 interchange. In Illinois, 255 North is congested from Route 15 to State Street with lane closures for construction, and 64 East is crowded from 255 to Illinois 157 due to construction. This traffic report is brought to you by Dents Express. Drive time can be hectic with traffic, weather, and fender benders. Dents Express can help with hassle-free dent removal, minor collision repair, and hail damage repair. Free evaluations, and they take care of the insurance paperwork. They've got 2 locations on Manchester and Baldwin and in St. Charles. DentsExpressSTL.com. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Hallmark Stone is a wholesale fabricator of quartz and granite countertops. They normally only sell to kitchen and bath shops, home stores, remodelers, and builders. But once a year, they open their doors to the general public to benefit Annie's Hope and Carney's Kids charities. This Saturday and Sunday is that weekend. It's the 23rd annual Remnant Sale, where you can buy quartz and granite remnants at up to 50% off retail pricing. Remnants are great for vanity tops, islands, fireplace surrounds, bar tops, and more. David Sherwood and Anne-Marie Boges will be broadcasting live on Saturday from 11 to 1. So come by and say hello. Hallmark Stone, located of I-44 at the Soccer Park exit. For directions, call 636-349-1288. Or better yet, check out their website at hallmarkstone.com. Enjoy extreme savings while benefiting local charities. What a great combination. Stop by Hallmark Stone's 23rd annual Remnant Sale this Saturday and Sunday. For more information, visit hallmarkstone.com.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants, the cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
John Beal Roofing has been proudly serving homeowners and businesses in the St. Louis metro area on both sides of the river in Missouri and Illinois for over 3 generations. A dependable roof begins with a team you can count on, and that's exactly what you get with John Beal Roofing. Recognized as one of Roofing Contractor Magazine's top 100 roofing companies, John Beal Roofing offers 24/7 emergency service and industry-leading warranties, including a lifetime workmanship warranty for total peace of mind. From upgrading an aging roof or completing a full replacement, the team at John Beal Roofing delivers solutions that are built to code, built to last, and handled with expert care. John Beal also responds quickly with reliable storm damage services backed by decades of experience and 24/7 emergency support. Get started today for expert service and a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 1-800-NEW-ROOF. That's 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Spring is here. Time to think of baseball, Easter, flowers blooming, fresh mowed grass. Think about making the trip to Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant part of your weekly plan. Whether an early breakfast, midday lunch, a homestyle dinner, or a late night bite to eat, Gingham's is your home away from home 24 hours a day. Spring into spring at Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles, 636-946-0666 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
A single flood can cost you nearly $60,000. In the St. Louis region, if it rains where you live, it can flood where you live. MSD Project Clear wants you to know your zone. Knowing your flood zone means you can act early, protect your property, and avoid devastating losses. Don't wait until it's too late. Only flood insurance covers flood damage. Visit knowyourzone.org now.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
John Londuff Jr. here, president of Johnny Londuff Chevrolet and Johnny Londuff Autoplex. On behalf of myself and the entire team here at Londuff Auto Group, we want to congratulate the big 550 KTRS on 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis. Congratulations on 30 years from your friends at the Johnny Londuff Auto Group.
Tune in weekly to the Frank and Jill Show to catch the new Illegal Eagle segment featuring renowned attorney Travis Noble of Travis Noble Attorneys at Law.
Every week, Travis will join the show for an entertaining segment focusing on legal stories.
And news right here on the Big 550. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh GIlbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, the ceasefire has been extended, but will Iran come to the table? Jordana Miller, ABC News correspondent in Jerusalem, joins us with the latest. Hey, Jordana.
Hi there. That's right. The president has extended the ceasefire without putting a deadline on it. And I think the big question now is whether the Iranians are going to ultimately get back to the negotiating table. We heard today from the Iranian president and the Speaker of the Parliament, and both of them seem to say that unless the naval blockade, the U.S. naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is lifted, they called that an obstacle to negotiations. The president has been very clear that the U.S. blockade is in force. CENTCOM just sent out a short while ago a tweet saying that they have now forced back 29 vessels, and the Iranian reports that some have crossed through the blockade. At least CENTCOM are calling those reports false. So it feels like we're at another impasse, and I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens. There are reports here in Israel that American officials have told the Israelis that that the president is going to give Iran somewhere between 3 and 5 days to put a proposal on the table, an Iranian response to the U.S. proposal. So that brings us to Monday. So I think we're going to have to wait and see.
So Jordana, help me, because I don't understand very many things, and this is a confusing one. So the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy say they seized 2 vessels, and yet I thought it's been weeks that the United States has said we sunk the Navy. So what's the truth? What's going on here?
So first of all, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, their Navy is in very bad shape, but they do retain these very cheap gunboats that they can set out. And it's the gunboats that attacked the tankers.
Okay.
Gotcha. 2 tankers overnight. Yeah. And seized those tankers, in a kind of tit for tat, right? Because the United States had turned back and seized two tankers over, a couple days ago. And by the way, the Iranians, they mined the Strait of Hormuz, and that also remains, one of their points of leverage because people, shipping companies are afraid to send their vessels through the Strait of Hormuz now. And there's whether the Iranians were closing the strait or the U.S. is blocking it, the truth is there's just isn't much traffic going through. And that, is still having a negative economic impact on the global economy. So I think that still remains a challenge for the president, but we can understand why the president is keeping the blockade in place. First of all, it's challenging Iran's claim to control the strait. It's preventing Iran from charging tolls, right, for vessels to go through, and it's putting tremendous economic pressure on Iran, $500 million a day that Iran is losing. And their economy is already in very bad shape. So, will that be enough to get Iran back to the table, to show concessions? I don't know. But for now, the president, I think, is making the right move to keep it in place.
And Jordana, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm sitting in my car. I'm listening to ABC News stories about it this morning. Iran, all of Iran's oil comes through the strait. All of Iran's economy, you said even the tolls.
That's right.
Come through the strait. Why do they want it shut down? Is this a thing where we are blocking their ships from using it, so they say if we can't use it, no one can?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Right. The Iranians, if you remember, when President Trump first announced the ceasefire between the United States and Iran, one of the conditions was that Iran was going to open the Strait of Hormuz, right, for all traffic and free and full access to use the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians never did that, right? They first demanded tolls, a new system, and ultimately the United States lost faith that Iran was going to reopen the strait because days went by. And then the United States said, well, we're going to block it, right? If we're going to block it and we're not going to let you, the Iranians, use anything that goes in and out, we're going to block. And in response, the Iranians then started to fire on and take vessels that were coming in and out of the strait or trying to, that were not linked to Iran or their ports, essentially saying, well, if we can use it, the Iranians, then no one will use it. Right. So that's exactly what's happened.
Jordana, you mentioned it, but I guess President Trump said that a new round of talks is possible as soon as Friday. Is J.D. Vance going to lead those talks once again?
We don't know. I think it's too soon to say. The Iranians, they seem to trust J.D. Vance. They were the ones who were pushing for Vance to be involved and lead the delegation. They did not like Steve Witkoff or Jared Kushner because, of course, the previous rounds of negotiations that were led by Witkoff and Kushner led to attacks on Iran, whether it was first by Israel last June or in this war in February by the United States and Israel. So I think we're going to have to wait and see. We haven't heard if they would be led by J.D. Vance, but the president has said there could be talks as early as Friday. But the United States is waiting for that proposal from Iran to move forward.
And I hate to even bring this up, but Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are both Jewish. Do you think that is playing into Iran's lack of wanting to negotiate with them further?
It could be. I mean, the Iranians are the Iranian leadership, not the people of Iran. They're anti-Semitic. They have fantasies about destroying the state of Israel.
Death to Israel, all that
and it
stuff.
may, right. It may bother them that the negotiators are Jewish, right? Since they have a distrust of Jews. So it could be. But I think we're going to have to, wait and see what plays out. I think, on the one hand, it looks like the president really is trying to give Iran another lifeline and another chance to make a deal. He doesn't seem particularly eager about returning to war. But the Iranians, they may not play their hand appropriately, right? they may overplay their hand, and we could be back at war again. So we're at a very critical moment.
Right. Well, Jordana, we certainly appreciate you keeping us in the know. Thank you so much, and please stay safe.
Thanks. Okay, talk soon.
10 minutes before 5 o'clock, time to get a check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, the latest is a crash on 141 South past Forest Avenue in Valley Park. An accident on 70 East past Bermuda is blocking the 2 left lanes with the stop-and-go jam back to Hanley. Estimated clearance time is 5:20. We have a stalled car and a police vehicle on 44 West past Bowles. It's partially blocking the right lane and causing only a slight slowdown. 270 South is heavy from north of Olive down to Manchester. 64 West is busy from Kings Highway to McCausland and from 364 to the 6470 interchange. In Illinois, 255 North is congested from Route 15 to State Street with lane closures for construction. And 64 East is crowded from 255 to Illinois 157 due to construction. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, I watch all these reality shows on Bravo, and everyone has perfect teeth. And you wonder, well, how did they get those teeth? Why does everyone have great teeth? Well, they pay for them. What is it, veneers that everybody gets? Everybody has fake teeth now. But it actually makes me look at my own teeth and say, well, I could probably go in for a little teeth whitening. Connor's getting a root canal.
Oh.
Finn, we're trying to get Finn to brush his teeth more often. But he said, oh, it tastes like pepper. Oh, pepper. Oh, it's burning. I tried the tooth. It tastes like strawberries. I don't know what his problem is.
There may be bigger issues than
I was going to say
just the toothpaste.
You think it's a parenting issue?
Well, I hate to point fingers, but
I think he's my son. That might be the issue. But everybody got teeth, and everybody's got teeth issues, and everybody needs a teeth cleaning every 6 months. And let me introduce you to my dentist, Lake St. Louis Dentistry. You can give them a call at 636-333-6150 for all your dental needs. Dr. Mulla is the full-time dentist out there. Dr. Landgraf vacillates between the 3 stores, the one in Florissant, the one in Creve Coeur that I go to because it's close to work, and the brand new one out in Lake St. Louis. LakeStLouisDentistry.com. You need a dentist? Go to my dentist, LakeStLouisDentistry.com.
Hi, St. Louis. This is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner of Timberline Professional Tree Care. The weather's warming up, flowers are blooming, and it's time to get back outside and start thinking about your trees. When you reach for your phone to call a tree contractor, we hope you'll give Timberline the opportunity to earn your business. Timberline is locally owned and operated and fully dedicated to delivering the best overall customer experience while providing the highest quality care for your trees. Every one of our crews includes at least one ISA-certified arborist on site, not just in the office, but right there at your home, so you can be confident the work is done safely, correctly, and always with your tree's best interests in mind. From planting and fertilization to pruning and removal, we're committed to excellence in everything trees. So when it's time to make that call Timberline Professional Tree Care at 636-479-7475 or visit us online at stltreecare.com.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna Food Service has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna Food Service, they get a team that truly cares about their success. That's why at Kuna, they like to say, they're big enough to handle it, yet small enough to care. Check them out online at kunafoodservice.com.
Repairing chimneys, walkways, porches, foundations, entire homes, anything to do with brick or stone, you need a tuck pointer you can trust, and that, of course, is Morelli. Morelli is a family-run business started in 1991, and they're only as good as their last customer. That's why when you check out the reviews online at MorelliTuckPointing.com, you'll notice that they're actual customers who are singing the praises of Morelli. So if you need a tuck pointer, you need Morelli. 314-645-1387 or MorelliTuckPointing.com.
I'm Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor with Capital Advisory Group. Now, more than ever, having a tax strategy to protect and grow your wealth is an absolute must. Every Saturday, Josh Gilbert and I will discuss how you can keep what's yours, because the most important part of your wealth plan is your tax plan. That's Keep What's Yours this Saturday afternoon.
Capital Advisory Group presents Keep What's Yours with Jeff Zufall and Josh Gilbert this Saturday afternoon at 3 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Reese Nichols, the most trusted Missouri real estate company, is now proudly serving St. Louis. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alliance is now Reese Nichols, a Missouri-born company established 125 years ago. The same trusted agents who served St. Louis for 45 years now have the backing of Missouri's largest brokerage, Reese Nichols. Offices across the metro, in-house services include title and insurance, making your move seamless. They also proudly support the Ronald McDonald House. Visit ReeseNichols.com. That's ReeseNichols.com.
Worldwide Technology Raceway is the only track in America to host a NASCAR event, an IndyCar event, and an NHRA event.
The Raceway features a full schedule on their drag strip, oval track, and gateway kartplex. For full schedule and ticket info, go online to WWTRaceway.com.
The track, under the leadership of owner Curtis Francois, continues to upgrade the race experience for fans who come from around the country. For tickets, go to WWTRaceway.com.
That's WWTRaceway.com.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Carney, Buck.
Thursday, when we get together, Brendan Weesey will break down some sports for us.
And Dr. Vedika Sharma joins us for another segment of What's Up, Doc?
And look at these feet. They're from Lori Shoes. Those folks are coming to visit, too.
Well, the shoes are, not the feet.
Well, my shoes are already here.
Okay.
John Carney, Julie Buck. Weekdays at noon on KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Well, Heidi and Bob back in the day on this date, April 22nd. I'll do the heavy news ones first.
Thank you.
1994, Richard Nixon passed away at the age of 82. I mean, I was in 6th grade, maybe the 8th grade, 6th grade. I don't remember. The first president funeral that I ever watched was Reagan in 2004. So do you guys remember when this happened?
Yeah, of course.
Just vaguely, or?
Yeah. He was in San Clemente living then, wasn't he?
I think so.
Back in retirement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2000, following the orders of Attorney General Janet Reno, federal agents raided the home where Alien Gonzalez was hiding, and that famous picture was taken.
Oh, yeah.
It's Reno time.
Yeah. They reunited the boy with their father. It's a Janet Reno dance party.
Yes.
Right? 1864, Congress authorized the use of the phrase, "In God We Trust," on U.S. coins.
What date was that?
1864.
How about that?
So during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a coin in a while, but I'm assuming it's still on there.
I'm off coins, as you know.
I know you are. I just saw a story that said Florida might be the first state to officially wipe their hands clean of pennies.
I thought we were already done with pennies. No?
We're not making them anymmer.
Oh, I see.
I found one when I was cleaning my car today under the seat.
I went to the bank a couple of weeks ago and went inside for some reason. I had business to do. And they had a sign that said, we round up at, 3 and 4, and we round down at 1 and 2.
Huh.
So they're getting ready, but Florida might be the first. 1970, the first Earth Day was celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I was in high school.
Really?
Yep.
Out there with the solar car and all that stuff. 1976, Barbara Walters became network TV's first anchor woman. She signed on to co-anchor the ABC Evening News with Harry Reasoner. She was paid $1 million a year.
Yes.
And then 1978, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd first appeared as the Blues Brothers on Saturday Night Live, 1978.
Wow. Legendary. All right, coming up, we're going to chat with David Pogue from CBS Sunday Morning and get his thoughts, one, on Tim Cook stepping down at Apple and some companies that are doing some great things for Earth Day.
But some days I sit and wish I was a kid.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Escalations in the Strait of Hormuz, with Iranian forces releasing video showing gunmen seizing a container ship. It comes hours after President Trump extended the ceasefire deadline. ABC's Selena Wang says so far, talks are not progressing.
The U.S. sent Iran a list of broad points that they hoped the Iranians would agree to ahead of those in-person talks. So messages were being traded between both sides, between the U.S. and Iran, but we're told that in the final hours before the deadline, Iran essentially went silent, that they weren't responding. One Pakistani official told us they believe Iranian officials were angered over the U.S. after they struck an Iranian-flagged cargo ship. We're also told by multiple officials that they believe the lack of response was due to a fracture within Iranian leadership.
Virginia voters passed a referendum for the state to redraw its congressional maps in a special election yesterday ahead of the midterm elections. It's aimed at giving Democrats more House seats. ABC's Jay O'Brien says Republicans are crying foul.
This is in direct response to a firestorm of redistricting that was really ignited by President Trump over the summer when he demanded that Texas Republicans redraw their maps for safe Republican seats, other states like Missouri and North Carolina following suit. But after this win in Virginia and other Democratic-controlled states like California redrawing their maps, Democrats now appear poised to cancel out some of those redistricting gains made by Republicans.
Ghislaine Maxwell, the co-conspirator of the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, has submitted a new filing to court and once again asking the judge to vacate her sex trafficking conviction and be released from jail. She's currently serving a 20-year prison sentence. Maxwell claims there's new evidence in the case. Earlier attempts to have her case dismissed have been denied by the courts. The district court, in a letter posted online this week, shows federal prosecutors notified the court it received an envelope. You're listening to ABC News.
We all
The Big 550 wants you to know that when it comes to local news, KTRS is committed to keeping you informed with all the local news going on.
I'm Rose Dalton, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
GIlbert, KTRS News.
With KTRS News, I'm Steve Pogue.
This is KTRS News, I'm Sobe Bay.
And when it comes to national and world news, the Big 550 has the resources and backing of ABC News.
I'm Sherry Preston from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen.
Delivering what you need to know and keep informed. We are the talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS. KTRS.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home. Wayfair, every style, every home.
Good afternoon. It is 76 degrees at the KTRS St. Louis studios at 5:03. I'm David Solomon. Sports, traffic, and weather come your way after this newscast, but first, here's what's happening. A St. Louis man has been charged in the death of his 3-year-old son who fell from an 11th floor window in a Central West End apartment building. 26-year-old Tarvis Phoenix is charged with first-degree endangering the welfare of a child. Police say late on the night of April 10th, Phoenix allegedly left the Parkview Apartments. While he was gone, police say the child walked out of the apartment and wandered up to an 11th floor elevator lobby. The child then climbed onto a bench to look out an open window before falling through the window and onto the concrete below. A tied race was decided at last night's St. Charles City Council meeting. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
Chris Kyle is replacing incumbent Bill Otto as the Ward 1 council member after his name was pulled from a jar to break the tiebreaker. However, Otto filed a lawsuit requesting a recount. A hearing is scheduled for May 1st. In the meantime, Kyle was sworn in during last night's meeting. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
A current initiative by the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District is designed to educate residents about their flood risk and the insurance options available to them. We have more from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The Know Your Zone initiative has a message. Flooding can occur anywhere, and flood damage can be costly and devastating. MSD spokesperson Nicole Spencer addressed the issue this week on KTRS's Heidi Show.
So we want people to know which kind of flood zone they live in so that they can be prepared. They either live in a high, moderate, or low risk flood zone. We want them to know the flood zone they live in so they can take action and get something like flood insurance to protect themselves during the heavy rain events if they chose to do so.
According to FEMA, everyone lives in a flood zone, and if you do live in a high-risk zone, you're required to have flood insurance. To learn which zone you live in and to find out options for purchasing flood insurance, go to knowyourzone.org. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
Missouri Republican U.S. Senator Josh Hawley has filed an amendment to the Senate budget resolution to extend the prohibition on federal payments to abortion providers. Congress enacted a one-year ban on federal payments under the Medicaid program to Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers as part of the Big Beautiful Bill Act. That ban expires on July 4th. Senator Hawley plans to force a vote on his amendment during the Senate's upcoming consideration of the budget resolution. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist. This week is Professional Administrators Week. Walter Knoll Florist makes it easy to say thanks with flowers. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Anheuser-Busch is building a new training center at its St. Louis brewery as part of a $600 million investment in U.S. manufacturing. The facility is one of 15 it plans on building across the United States in collaboration with local trade schools. The training center will focus on developing local workers' technical skills as the company looks to strengthen its manufacturing workforce. And now let's take a look at the closing markets brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement with Jeff and Aaron Lapidus Saturday mornings from 9 to 11. The Dow closed up 340 points at 49,490. The Nasdaq up 397 points at 24,657, and the S&P 500 was up 73 points, closing at 7,137. In KTRS Sports, Ivan Herrera hit a ninth-inning solo home run, but it wasn't enough on a day the Cardinals rested Alec Burleson, Jordan Walker, and Mason Wynn as they fell to the Miami Marlins 4-1 earlier today. The Cardinals return home Friday night to open a three-game series against the Seattle Mariners. Mizzou basketball is reportedly heading to Dennis Gates' hometown of Chicago for a marquee non-conference matchup against Marquette at the United Center on Sunday, November 15th. The Tigers also formally announced the signing of former five-star recruit and former Kansas forward Bryson Tiller. And the St. Louis Battlehawks have added some quarterback depth, acquiring veteran spring football quarterback Luis Perez from the Dallas Renegades for offensive tackle Corey Stewart. The Battlehawks head to Orlando to face former coach Anthony Becht in the Storm on Saturday night. Don't forget to tune in to the Big Sports Show with Brendan Weesey at 7. That follows the Control Option Press Box with Frank Cusimano at 6. Now it's time for KTRS Time Saver Traffic. Let's get a look at the roads from Captain Paul Kopsky, who is standing by in the KTRS Traffic Center.
David, we have a crash on 64 West at McKnight with a stop and go back up to 170. An accident on 64 East past Clarkson has traffic jammed back to Chesterfield Parkway exit 19. There's a crash on 141 South past Forest Avenue in Valley Park. We have a stalled vehicle and a police vehicle on 44 West past Bowles. It's partially blocking the right lane and causing a slight slowdown. In Illinois, 255 North is congested from Route 15 to State Street with lane closures for construction. 64 East is crowded from 255 to Illinois 157 due to construction. And we have the usual slow spots. This traffic report is brought to you by the Quarry at Crystal Springs Golf Course. The Quarry at Crystal Springs delivers a convenient and affordable golf course that is a true test of any player's game. 4 sets of tees will allow players of all abilities to choose the course length that will best suit their enjoyment. Visit them today. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
And in your KTRS First Alert forecast, you can expect clear skies overnight with a low around 59. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high near 83 and wind gusts up to 26 miles per hour. Showers are likely to move in overnight tomorrow night with a low around 63, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms on Friday with a high near 75. Right now, it is 76 degrees at 5:09. I'm David Solomon, KTRS News on the Talk of St. Louis.
Spring is here, and that means you're going to be spending more time outside and enjoying the outdoors. But your deck, you've been thinking about doing something with that deck for years. Don't wait any longer. Go see my friends over there at Outdoor Living, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It's right there. It's been there a long time. At Outdoor Living, the showroom has a great style, great designs. You can get all sorts of options. They'll come out to your house. They'll do a site visit, and when you're ready, they'll build you a deck with metal framing, composite decking, and they will put a 50-year warranty on that deck. That's right. You don't have to worry about staining. You don't have to worry about warping or anything else. All you have to worry about is how much fun you're going to have. They've also got pergolas and fences and patio furniture. Yeah, they got patio furniture at Outdoor Living. Check out the showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood. It looks like the old Denny's. You're in the right place. Or online, outdoorlivinginc.com for all of your patio needs and a 50-year warranty on that new deck. OutdoorLivingInc.com.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
I feel like I should have my coffee in my hand and be on my couch.
Yeah. Where's Jane?
Right? Today is Earth Day, and our favorite correspondent at CBS Sunday Morning, David Pogue, recently did a story about a couple of companies doing things a little differently. Welcome back, David.
Why, thank you so much.
This was a really interesting story, a three-parter, actually. So let's start with this company using the ocean to power data centers. How is this going to work?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people have attempted to harness the energy in the waves to generate free, forever, clean, renewable energy. Most of them have not panned out because there's a lot of moving parts. There are flaps. There are cables to the sea floor to hold it in place. There are cables back to land to carry the power. But these guys, Panthalassa, they have a new idea. Their thing looks like a giant silo. It's 250 feet tall, but all you see floating out at sea is the little dome at the top. And as it bobs up and down, it forces water through these turbines and generates power. But it is not tethered to the bottom of the seafloor. It is self-propelled like a Roomba. It keeps its own position at sea, and it has no cable to bring power back to shore. Instead, there are pieces of the data center right on the thing. So it generates electricity, runs all the computers for our AI needs, and then sends the answers back to us via satellite. I know it's a lot to absorb, but bottom line, it's very clean, and it saves us humans from even more ugly, power-consuming data centers on land.
And David, it's kind of hard to envision if you didn't watch the piece on Sunday. But like you said, these are big, giant bobbers in the ocean. Data centers on land are enormous, though. How many, racks of servers could this thing even fit?
Yeah, you need a lot of these things to equal one data center, dozens or more. And that's okay because they're way out at sea. They don't harm sea life. They don't make any sound. They don't have any emissions. They don't use any fuel. They just kind of go up and down with the sea surface. So this company sees no problem with putting thousands of them, and you'll never see them because they want to put them in the most violent waves they can, which happens to be oceans way out at sea.
So this might not work. We have a mild controversy in St. Louis regarding data centers. So if we couldn't put one of these in the Mississippi River and really get much done, could we?
I'm guessing they'd pick a better spot than that.
Okay.
Again, I'm watching this thing, and perpetual motion machines don't exist. It's a wild theory, but with gravity and all of this stuff, it's not a thing. But if the Earth keeps turning and the winds keep blowing and the waves keep crashing, this thing probably could run by itself, in theory, in perpetuity.
I mean, it is not perpetual motion, to be clear. The sun heats the water, which produces wind, which produces waves. I mean, that's all known physics. But yes, the beauty of this thing is that it generates power even when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing. It generates power 24/7, and there are no moving parts on it except for those two spinning turbines. So it can hold up, they say, to the roughness of the sea.
Wow. Are they already using it, or they're just testing it at this point?
Just testing. They've had a full-size one out at sea for 2 months, and it worked flawlessly. So we visited the factory where they're building the real one, and they hope to have that out at sea by August.
Wow. Well, we'll have to follow up and see how it all turns out. What about this company creating a sustainable alternative to concrete? I mean, it looked like concrete.
Yeah. I mean, not very many people realize how bad concrete is for the world. It is 9% of all human carbon pollution, all the emissions, just from concrete.
Really?
And it's because to make it, they crush up limestone, they put it in a huge rotating kiln that they have to heat up to astronomical temperatures by burning coal. So the coal is part of the problem. And the other problem is when the limestone breaks down and becomes the material for cement, it releases more carbon dioxide. So cement making alone produces more carbon dioxide than all the airplanes and all the ships in the whole world.
Wow.
So it's a real problem. So these guys have figured out, a company called Biomason, a way to make cement at room temperature. And it's exactly the same stuff, only they don't heat up anything, they don't burn anything, they don't produce emissions, they use bacteria. They put bacteria into a mold with the sand and the gravel. And, you know, their argument is that nature does this all the time, right? Nature makes concrete. It's called coral reefs. It's called marble. It's called limestone. It's called seashells, right? So that's all the same stuff, calcium carbonate. So that's why they think it's a good bet. And so far they're producing it for the 30% of the world's concrete that is used for preformed shapes like tiles and bricks and those highway barriers.
Wow, so interesting. And these scientists just continue to amaze. The other story, and maybe my favorite out of the three, about breeding a better bread.
Yeah, that's right. At the University of Washington State, there is an outfit called the Bread Lab. And their observation is that most of us eat white bread. Most of us do not eat whole wheat bread. And so to get that, we harvest the wheat, and then we throw away 30% of it. 30% of it is the germ and the husk and all that stuff that is good for you, contains all the nutrients you need, but we throw it away because we think white bread tastes better. So their goal is to breed a new kind of wheat, not through genetic modification, but just through traditional crossbreeding, that tastes as good as white bread, but has all the nutrients and the less waste of whole wheat bread. And we tasted it, man. It's good.
Really? Yeah, I thought that was fascinating. How soon could we see that on store shelves?
Well, at the moment, it's on store shelves, but only locally in the state of Washington. But they have a deal with King Arthur, the flour company.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe distribution will start soon. We can only hope.
And bread is tough because to make it shelf stable, to make it last long enough for delivery and sit in our grocery stores for a week, it has to be pumped full of preservatives. Is this stuff going to have preservatives in it? Is it going to be healthy and taste good?
It will not have preservatives in it. This place is run by the earthiest, crunchiest people you've ever met.
But it did taste good.
It did. They made me pizza with this flour, and we tasted bread with this flour. It's really good, and it tasted even better knowing it was good for me.
Yeah, it was interesting. Before we let you go, we wanted your thoughts on Tim Cook stepping down from Apple.
Yeah, big news. I mean, it's a nice round number for Cook, right? He's 65. Apple is 50 years old. He's been there for 15 years. He is 20 times the company's total stock price. So there are a lot of reasons it's a good time, an appropriate time. So he's been saying that it's exhausting. He does wake up at 3:45 in the morning every single day, and he's there past dinner time. So he deserves a break.
Yeah. What about the guy that's going to replace him? Do you know much about him?
Yeah, it's John Turnus. He is currently the Senior Vice President of Hardware Engineering. And he's also, like Tim Cook, a very calm, mild-mannered, even-keeled, steady hand. He's not, flashy and volatile like Steve Jobs was. But he has the advantage that he has worked on every hardware product at Apple since the iPad. So he's also kind of a product guy, perhaps more than Tim Cook was. So it should be interesting to see what he comes up with.
And you wrote the book on Apple. What is it? Apple, the First 50 Years.
You got it.
We can go out and buy that anywhere. We already chatted with you about it. But are these numbers right? Did I hear that when Tim Cook started at Apple or took the reins, 400 million? And now it's worth $4 trillion.
Oh my!
$4 trillion total stock value. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
And was he, when Steve Jobs passed away, was he just the right person in the right place at the right time? Right as everyone started carrying smartphones in their pocket, did he just luck into this?
Well, you may remember that most of the press thought it was the wrong person at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, he's not a product guy. He doesn't have, that Steve Jobs knack for seeing what's coming down the pike and for knowing how to do the perfection of the details and all that stuff. But Steve Jobs picked him, and somehow he just seemed to know that the next CEO of Apple could be a calm, nuts and bolts supply chain financial genius rather than a product genius.
And what would you attribute over the last 15 years, that $4 trillion valuation? What would you say is the biggest driver of that?
Well, what Cook did was he milked every conceivable drop from that iPhone invention. So, under Cook's watch, we got the AirPods, we got the Apple Watch, and we got all those services, Apple TV, Apple Pay, Apple Music. The services alone generate $100 billion a year. So he really figured out how to get the most out of the initial invention of the iPhone. And that's where we are today.
Yeah.
And David, do you think, just being as close to this as you are, they come out with a new Apple iPhone every 2 years or so.
Every year, yeah.
So it seems like a real remodel every couple of years. Do we need to be buying a new phone every couple of years?
No, we don't. In the early days, you may remember, every year brought substantial new upgrades, a front-facing camera, whatever. But these days, I mean, people easily go 4, 5, 6 years without updating their phone. The improvements are much more incremental year by year.
Yeah. Well,
although I have to say, this fall you might want to take a look. They're unveiling the folding iPhone, which opens up like a book into something about the size of an iPad Mini, which people who have these from Samsung and other companies really like them, even though they're really expensive, like $2,000.
Yeah, ouch. What are you working on for this weekend or the next?
I have the week off, but then I'm off to interview Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA.
Oh, that'll be interesting. You do have a very cool job, David. We always appreciate you taking time for us here in St. Louis. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sure appreciate it.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
For all of your travel needs, you go to the best travel agency in the world. Granted, I'm a little biased. Altair Travel and Cruises. They'll take you wherever you want to go in style. They'll handle all the details. You handle all the fun. Don't go to the Googles. Don't make that mistake. It all starts at Altair Travel and Cruises on Brentwood Boulevard, 314-968-9600. Anywhere you want to go, let Altair Travel take you. AltairTravel.com.
Since 1974, Permajack of St. Louis has been helping residential and commercial owners protect their biggest investment. From successfully solving foundation structural problems to making sure basements remain dry, Permajack has performed tens of thousands of projects on both sides of the river, utilizing state-of-the-art technology, techniques, and equipment. Permajack of St. Louis has done it with honesty and integrity, never recommending anything outside of what you really need. For many repairs, Permajack provides a transferable life of structure warranty, all while Permajack of St. Louis has earned a BBB A+ rating and accreditation. For foundation settlement, bowed or buckling walls, cracks in your foundation, walls or bricks, or basement waterproofing, choose the hometown family-owned team at Permajack of St. Louis. Schedule your free inspection and estimate at permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack, solid as rock.
Can I get serious for a moment? Something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is my front yard and taking care of your front yard. Because when you drive by someone's house and it's full of weeds, you think to yourself, oh man, it's very, very simple. You know how much I love to pretend to be a yard dork. You know what I use? Fertilome. I go to fertilome.com and I type in my zip code, and a whole host of local independent lawn and garden dealers show up. I buy the crabgrass preventer plus lawn food. It's the spring application. I get it down on my yard as soon as possible, and that greens up my yard and keeps the weeds away. So it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. But really, all I'm doing is getting Fertilome and putting it on my front yard. And that will take care of my yard for many, many, many weeks, and it go a long way to having the greenest yard in the block. So this spring, you want to green up your yard and get rid of the weeds? It all starts at Fertilome or fertilome.com.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Stay connected with the Big 550 KTRS, streaming 24/7 online at ktrs.com or on the KTRS app. Powered by JBL Financial. Stream Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Mom, what do you always say?
There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer.
That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstetter's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Now, a message from KTRS President and General Manager Mark Dorsey.
If you look to the east of the Gateway Arch from St. Louis, you'll see a blinking light in the sky that translates a signal of KTRS, the Big 550, to radio listeners across America and beyond. From the cornfields of Belleville to Westport Plaza and across the region, KTRS has been a friend and companion to many for 30 years. As families gather around radios to share experiences, listening to the latest news, talk shows, and sports, we could be in the background or foreground, but we've got to know each other, and you became much a part of our lives as we do yours. KTRS has been with you during the good times and bad. You invited us into your homes, your cars, your trucks, your businesses, and on and on. This month, KTRS is celebrating a milestone of broadcasting to millions of listeners for 30 years. As we celebrate our 30th year, I want to thank you, our loyal listeners, our wonderful advertisers, and the many friends and partners who continue to support our mission. Live local radio and being locally owned and operated has been our mantra for 30 years. Of being the talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, it's about 5:30, and we need to get a check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, there's a crash on 270 north past Dorset with a backup to Page. They just cleared an accident on 64 east past Clarkson. There's a crash on 141 south past Forest Avenue in Valley Park. 270 south is heavy from north of Olive down to Manchester. 64 west is stop and go at times from Tower Grove to Clayton Skinker, and it's crowded from 364 to the 6470 interchange. 64 east bogs down at 170. We have some slowdowns in Illinois due to construction. 255 north is congested from Route 15 to State Street, and 64 east is running slow from 255 to Illinois 157. This traffic report is brought to you by Neighbors Credit Union. If you're ready to upsize, downsize, or first-time home buy, turn to the team at Neighbors Credit Union. At Neighbors Credit Union, you'll find great rates, expert advice, and personalized friendly service throughout the entire home loan process and beyond. That's just what you'd expect from a great neighbor. Apply online today at neighborscu.org. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
Nearly a dozen researchers or people with links to aerospace or defense programs have disappeared or died in circumstances that some observers have deemed suspicious. Rich McHugh, national investigative correspondent for News Nation, joins us with what he's learned. Thanks for making time for us.
You bet. Happy to be here.
So several of the missing or deceased held high-level security clearances. What do you know about the people on this list?
Well, the list varies. I mean, if you look at it, and it's taken me a while just to go through and try and understand the names and what they did and are they overlapping. You know, broadly, I can say that they're overlapping and they worked in adjacent kind of industry. They all worked with sensitive information. There's two names that pop out to me, which kind of seem like the most connected, and that is Monica Reza. She disappeared on a hike in the mountains outside of Los Angeles. She was hiking with two others. She worked alongside and I believe underneath General McCasland. He's the person who left his home in New Mexico with a pistol, but with no phone, no glasses. And that was in February. And so that was the case that really kind of like, I think, got everybody's attention and had everybody on social media being like, wait a minute, a general is gone missing.
And Rich, no wallet, no phone, no glasses, but a pistol. I mean, what else are we supposed to think?
And he was hiking too, right?
He was, it appeared that he was going out for a hike. He was a hiker.
And his family said that he had no prior history with mental illness, and they don't think that it would have been a suicide.
Correct. But his wife did say, I'm not sure if it was in the post that she made shortly thereafter. She was trying to correct the misinformation out there. But I think there was also a 911 call that she made where she told authorities on that call that she believed that there was some indication, at least, that he may have not wanted to be found. I think that was the phrase. So for every one of these situations, there's also there's like competing facts. Let's put it that way. Amy, what was her name? I think her name is Amy Eskridge. She was another kind of one that may have taken her own life. And people are saying that, you know, her father, News Nation spoke with her father, and he says he doesn't believe his daughter's death is suspicious. He said something to the effect of like scientists, you know, die as well. Now there's people coming out today saying she was posting to them her concerns for her safety in the months leading up to her death, saying, if I die, it's not a suicide, et cetera, like, it's something's not right here. And so you have these competing, like, fact bases where you have her father, who's more trustworthy than someone's father in this scenario, saying, no, it's not suspicious. And then you have somebody who is a friend putting text messages out saying, not so fast. I think there might be something here. And with many of these cases, that's kind of, some of them are cut and dried. Some were murdered, and the person who murdered them was found. There was a MIT professor who was murdered in his doorstep, and turns out the person who murdered him was an acquaintance of his, but it was connected to that Brown University mass shooting. And so you have to wonder, is some of this just, in absence of concrete information and concrete answers, is that when conspiracy theories creep in and make it believable? And so it's possible that there's a mix of both happening here, or it's possible that this is all just, these are all purely coincidental. House Oversight Committee Chair Comer came out this morning and told us at News Nation he doesn't believe any of this is, coincidental, and said that if these are connected in any way, then it's a national security threat. There's a lot of people believe that. And, hopefully with the FBI kind of spearheading this, working with NASA and other groups, that they will get some sort of concrete, answers and say definitively one way or another. Because right now everybody's just kind of like running around saying, oh, there's another person who had the security clearance and they're missing. And so everybody's it's kind of hysteria right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what, will your employer pay you to investigate? And if you uncovered anything, would you be nervous?
Well, that's my job. And that's what I do. I'm an investigative reporter, and certain stories that I work on, yes, I do get nervous for my own safety, and I've had to consult, CIA people for how do I protect myself in this scenario? In this instance, with regard to this story, I'm not afraid of this story. I tend to fall on the side of there might be some connectivity on a couple of these.
Mm-hmm.
But do I believe, given everything that I've read and seen, that there's some kind of the foreign adversaries are picking off our scientists? I don't know. The motive is certainly there for them to do so, but I don't. It doesn't say that to me. At least the data and the evidence doesn't lead there. None of the authorities, whether it's the Los Angeles County sheriffs or any of these people that are working together, none of them have come out and said we find even a link between any of these. So until that happens, until the FBI says, look, we did find this one link. I tend to side on the fact that this is all the crazy timing and maybe nothing more.
So, Rich, is there officially an investigation underway? What is happening as far as Congress
it's hard
goes?
to say.
Okay.
It's hard to say. The FBI told us in a statement yesterday that they are spearheading the effort, and I'm going to butcher the language, but it was the effort and working with all the agencies, including NASA and all these other agencies, to investigate this, the links between the connections between them. So my understanding is maybe it's not a full-blown investigation, but there's an effort to work with, let's say where the woman hiker went missing in Los Angeles. They're going to work with the Los Angeles County sheriffs, and NASA is going to be involved, and they're going to compare and share notes. Like a lot of these agencies, especially with these, clearance, with these sensitive information roles, like they're probably not looking forward to opening up their books and saying this person did this for us and that. So I think the FBI and hopefully this effort will force them all to open their books and like get some answers here. And President Trump, meanwhile, he said last week we're gonna convene some sort of like team on this and we're gonna have an answer for you. He seemed to imply in like a week and a half. I don't know. He didn't give any reason for why that would be the case, but that would be the end of this week if that were true.
Yeah, he always says things are going to happen in 2 weeks. So maybe that's just another example of that. But, Rich, I want to point out, Bob and I are normally the ones that dip a toe in the conspiracy theory pool. It was Heidi today that said, get Rich on the show. I want to talk about it. So maybe she's coming over to our side, or I
just want to know more. I want to know what the facts are and what the headlines are and kind of sort through it all.
It's definitely tantalizing, and I will be a convert to a believer the second there's one ounce of connectivity proven between these cases, aside from the fact that they all had these clearances and they worked adjacent to each other. I'm not there yet, and I've read through each of the bios and all the data and all the police reports, and I don't know. I want to believe. I went into this thinking, oh wow, this sounds like it's real, and trust me, these people did go missing, and so there are still unsolved mysteries here, and so they're very well may be connected. But I don't know. It's just
what happens when a guy walks up to you in the parking garage and says, "Rich, you need to back off the story."
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Yeah.
He's smoking a
I don't know enough yet, sir.
Because you're going to dig deep and you're going to find something.
Follow the money, Rich.
Oh, boy. Rich, I'm going to let you off now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Rich.
You got it, guys. Nice talking with you.
But did you notice he said, I wanted this to be a story, but he remained objective like a good journalist would, whereas, the crackpots, Bob, would...
I accept.
Read the police reports and say, this proves everything.
Well, it's just odd when you have 10 or 11 scientists who are working in something similar. You just want to know, okay, are there any connections? And I'll take Rich's lead on that if there's not enough there for him, then I'll wait.
We'll sit on it for now.
He's still investigating.
He's still investigating. We'll check back in with him. There are plenty of stories that you can read about the conspiracy theories, and you'll find all of those books and more at St. Louis County Library. I mean, really, you name it, you're going to find it. If you want to, go down some deep hole of the conspiracy theories about UFOs, or maybe you want to know the real science of just the stars, you'll find all of that at the St. Louis County Library, and then some. We do our book club here on the Big 550, and we'll be featuring some authors who are coming to town. And then you can even hear more from them because there's so many author events that happen at the Clark Family Branch. But that, again, is just part of what they do. They have the Emerson History and Genealogy Center. You have the Teen Creative Lab. You have all kinds of fun storytelling events, and then you got the Library of Things. So whatever it is you're looking for, whether it's a book or a magazine, or if you want to stream your favorite show, you can find it all at slcl.org.
You're selling your home, and I want to buy it. This is Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I am ready to pay top dollar for your home. No contingencies, no inspections, no monkey business. I buy your home no matter the condition or location, and you walk away with cash. Call me, Mike Robinson, at 314-283-0867, 314-283-0867, or at robankproperties.com. That's ROBANG properties.com.
The final stretch of your career isn't about slowing down. It's about getting strategic. Those last 5 years before retirement can define your financial future, from maximizing contributions and paying off high-interest debt to mapping out health care and testing your post-retirement budget. This is your moment to take control. At Pioneer Wealth Management, we help you connect all the moving parts. Real peace of mind starts long before your final paycheck. Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Pioneer Wealth Management and Creative One Wealth are unaffiliated. Life insurance professional. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn, and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When you want to send flowers to a loved one for a birthday, anniversary, or that special occasion, call your friends at Walter Knoll Florist. Walter Knoll is family-owned and operated and offers custom designs by expert designers. A huge inventory and selection that only the largest florist can offer, with quality and care that no grocery store florist can meet. They have several locations in the St. Louis metro area to serve you. Order online today at WKF.com. That's WKF.com. Walter Knoll Florist, your personal florist since 1883.
When you're driving the lane, you've got to stay in control, and the same goes for your car. When the unexpected happens, breakdowns, engine trouble, costly repairs, CarShield has your back so you can keep driving without missing a beat. Don't get benched by expensive car repairs. Join the winning team with America's #1 auto protection company, CarShield. Call 800-861-6176 or visit carshield.com today. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Spring is here. Time to think of baseball, Easter, flowers blooming, fresh mowed grass. Think about making the trip to Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant part of your weekly plan. Whether an early breakfast, midday lunch, a homestyle dinner, or a late night bite to eat, Gingham's is your home away from home 24 hours a day. Spring into spring at Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles, 636-946-0666 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
I'm Reed Millard, president of Lupton Millard Chapel of St. Louis. We've been faithfully serving St. Louis families for generations. At Lupton Millard Chapel, we understand it's the little things that make a big difference for the families we serve. A traditional church funeral or a unique celebration of life. Providing the finest in services and attention to detail has always been the hallmark of our family.
Lupton Millard Chapel, the leader in excellence since 1905. For more information, go to LuptonMillardChapel.com.
John Londuff Jr. here, president of Johnny Londuff Chevrolet and Johnny Londuff Autoplex. On behalf of myself and the entire team here at Londuff Auto Group, we want to congratulate the big 550 KTRS on 30 years of being the talk of St. Louis. Congratulations on 30 years from your friends at the Johnny Londuff Auto Group.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Well, let's do a little entertainment news. Joe Buck will host a Jeopardy spinoff called ESPN Jeopardy on Disney Plus and Hulu. According to Variety, ESPN talent will face off on the sports-centered show and will play for charities of their choice. The tournament-style event will lead to a $500,000 grand prize and will be named the ESPN Jeopardy champion. This isn't Joe's first time hosting Jeopardy. In 2021, he took a turn as a guest host for the show for a week, and as part of his time as a guest host, he donated to Kids Smart, one of my favorite charities here in St. Louis.
It's a great charity.
So he's a great host,
Here's
too.
what'll be great about this, that they won't be strangers, the participants.
Yeah.
He'll know them, and he'll be taking shots. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
So I was wondering, when he took this job at ESPN, when he was at Fox, he was doing football. He was doing baseball. He was doing Super Bowls, World Series, playoffs. He was doing golf there towards the end of his Fox day. And then he goes to ESPN, he makes a bunch of money, and he only works Mondays during the football season. Oh, what a great gig. But
Can I get that deal here?
Yeah.
No.
He does a couple baseball games, though, doesn't he? I thought he was doing a few games here and there, no?
I think he's picked up a couple of stories here and there. Yeah. But I knew at some point ESPN was going to press him into service in other ways.
Well, he's too good.
He's too good.
Not to be used for so many
exactly.
things. Yeah. Nikki Glaser was on The Tonight Show last night and explained she always sends flowers to the celebrities she's made fun of. like Leonardo DiCaprio at the Golden Globes. But maybe she said Leo actually sent her a gift. In case you forgot, she made a joke about the world knowing nothing about Leo except his young girlfriends and having to go as far back as Teen Beat to find out anything about him, which was a pretty good joke. And she said,
wasn't he had his appendix out or something?
I don't know, but she learned in that Teen Beat that his favorite food was pasta.
Yeah.
Well, she said Leo showed her there were no hard feelings and sent her 3 baskets of pasta.
Nice.
Which is, I like when everybody plays along.
Yep.
That's a good one.
That's good stuff.
This is kind of funny. Donnie Wahlberg, who reprised his role on Bloods, shared on Live with Kelly and Mark what it's really like to film scenes in his hometown of Boston. He says, it's crazy. We don't get anything done. Every take, I'm literally saying, give me your hands, sir. You're under arrest. And it's like, Donnie! And they have to start again. He said,
Donnie from Southie.
Yeah. The duck boat tours drive by and they have a headset on with a speaker, and it's literally like, over there you'll see Donnie Wahlberg in the wild. He grew up 3 doors down from me. I knew his mother, God rest herself.
How's your mother?
Yeah. It's so funny, right? Morgan Wallen is set to donate $1.2 million to his high school to update their baseball field, which was named in his honor last year. The donation will be used to create a, quote, versatile, state-of-the-art, multi-use athletic field.
Did he play baseball in high school?
I thought he did, but I'm not sure.
Man, he kind of, Bob, you work down at the lake. All the baseball kids these days have that mullet.
Ugh.
They wear those sunglasses.
Yep.
They all look like little Morgan Wallen.
That's actually a great point.
Yeah. As far as TV goes tonight, you got Game 2 on the the NBA playoffs first round. That's all on ESPN. The 5th season finale of Abbott Elementary with back-to-back episodes starting at 7 on ABC. You've got the first season finale of The Greatest Average American. And then Hulk Hogan, Real American. That documentary is on Netflix. And you got Lainey Wilson, Keeping Country Cool on Netflix. How about a couple birthdays?
Do you feel like we do?
Oh, Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton.
Oh.
How old?
Ooh.
Oh, man. How old was he in the 70s? Is he 81?
I was going to say he is 83.
76.
Ooh,
Insulting.
Young
All right,
guy.
I got to go real quick, but this is really an important one. My 3 favorite films from this actor: One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Chinatown, and A Few Good Men.
Jack Nicholson.
My 3 underrated: Wolf with Michelle Pfeiffer, Terms of Endearment with Deborah Winger, and The Border. Have you ever seen The Border?
No.
Check it out. It's really good. He is a Border Patrol guy. It's really, really good. Jack Nicholson is how old today?
88.
85.
Heidi wins today. He's 89.
Woo! That is your evening entertainment report on the Big 550.
Esquire did a top 10 Jack Nicholson movie, and they put The Last Detail.
Last Detail's good.
In either the top 3 or the top 2.
I don't think it's that good.
One Flew was number 1. I didn't think it was that good either.
He was great.
It had a good cast.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was that great.
The Border. Check it out, you Nicholson fans.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer, and April is Donate Life Month. KTRS is a proud partner with Mid-America Transplant. You may have questions about organ donation. I sure did. Like, will doctors do everything they can to still save my life? Yes. Your medical team's job is always to save you. Donation is only considered after every life-saving effort has failed. Or you might wonder, like I did, am I too old or unhealthy to be a donor? Not at all. People in their 80s or 90s, or even those with some medical conditions, may be able to donate. Here in our region, more than 1,400 people are waiting for a life-saving transplant. Nationwide, it's more than 100,000. One donor can save 8 lives and help heal dozens more. Registering takes just 2 minutes, and it gives hope to people who don't have time to wait. I did it. Learn the facts, talk to your family, and sign up today at sayyesgivelife.org. That's sayyesgivelife.org.
Hi, I'm Megan Sinclair Rosso, dealer principal at Dave Sinclair Lincoln. For generations, our family has delivered a luxury experience St. Louis drivers can trust. And today, we've elevated that experience even further with thoughtful design, advanced technology, and service that works around your life. Because luxury isn't just what you drive, it's how you're treated. Visit Dave Sinclair Lincoln in St. Louis or St. Peters to feel the difference for yourself.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, 6 minutes before 6. Let's get one final check of traffic with Captain Paul.
Heidi, an accident on 270 south at 55 is causing a stop-and-go jam back to Gravois. There's a crash on 270 north past Dorset, blocking the two right lanes with a backup to Page. 270 south is heavy from Olive down to Manchester. 64 west is crowded from Kings Highway to McCausland. 64 east bogs down from 170 to Big Bend. And in Illinois, 64 east is congested from 255 to 157. This traffic report is brought to you by the Rockwood School District. Are you looking for a new part-time or full-time job opportunity? Consider Rockwood School District with openings for custodians, cafeteria workers, and groundskeepers with great benefits, competitive pay, and flexible hours. Apply online at rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs. From the KTRS Traffic Center, I'm Captain Paul Kopsky on the Big 550 KTRS.
We have a huge responsibility to raise and educate our children. Let's give our children a solid foundation for tomorrow by teaching them to say yes to life, and education by saying no to drugs and alcohol. This message courtesy of Accurate Mechanical Contractors, proudly serving the greater St. Louis area for over 21 years. They're currently hiring energetic pipe fitters and more. Call 314-291-4336. That's 314-291-4336. Accurate Mechanical Contractors is on the air because they care.
Chicken and Pickle is a unique family entertainment complex located on the west end of Main Street in St. Charles. Indoor and outdoor space for pickleball, public or private parties, concerts, charitable fundraisers, watch parties, and more. There's a chef-driven restaurant and sports bar, pickleball courts with professional instruction, space for live entertainment, and yard games. Chicken and Pickle, where great food and good friends come together. And pickleball is a really big deal. Don't forget to book your private events located on Main Street in St. Charles or chickenandpickle.com.
Look at our alums, the contributions that they have made throughout industries in the St. Louis region.
Terry Freerks, a graduate of the University of Missouri, St. Louis.
UMSL is embedded in the fabric of the St. Louis community. We're hands-on, and when our students graduate, they are definitely career ready, but maybe more importantly, they're career confident.
More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
All right, let's wrap this Wednesday up with a couple randoms.
Real quick one, James Caan was improvising in The Godfather when he said, bada bing.
Really?
Wow.
It has since become a catchphrase for mobsters in movies and in real life.
Jimmy Caan.
Oh.
Bada bing!
He should get a little something for it every single time. You guys, that does it for us. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Wednesday. Hopefully you'll meet us back here at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right, it's all right.
I've been asked to say a word about Allen Roofing. That's not fair. I can't say it in a word. If they just did roofs, I probably could. I would say roofs. But they can do siding. They could replace it. They could put leaf guards on. They could reattach it like they had to do for me, where my gutter kind of came away from the house. Siding issues, they carry James Hardy, the very best. They can fix that too. Basically, if it's something you could see from the outside of your home or your office, they can fix it, improve it, or replace it. Look, it's probably the biggest investment you're ever going to make. Protect it. Absolutely. And nobody does it better than Allen Roofing. Check out all the reviews online. Everybody else seems to know. I shouldn't have to tell you these things. For all of your roofing needs and so much more, Allen Roofing. Find them online at aroofing.net.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. Shop Wayfair's Way Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-551-7672. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-551-7672. That's 800-551-7672. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, the station you have depended on for 3 decades. We are the talk of St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Dave Packard. Iran seizing 2 vessels near the Strait of Hormuz, hours after President Trump extended the ceasefire with Iran indefinitely. ABC's Tom Sophie Borage.
Iran has demonstrated that it can threaten ships going through there. And not just threaten, it fired the IRGC, the Iranian military, at 3 vessels, but it seized control of 2, which were trying to transit from west to east, from the Persian Gulf into the Gulf of Oman. And by doing that, Iran is not only showing that it still has this stranglehold on the world economy, and therefore energy prices, and therefore gas prices in the US, but it is also showing that it still has something of a navy.
The Pentagon says Navy Secretary John Phelan is departing the administration effective immediately. An administration official says he was asked to step down. Tinderbox conditions leading to growing wildfires in Georgia, dozens of homes destroyed. The governor declaring a state of emergency. Brianna Elliott left home in a hurry.
We haven't even been there renting there for a year, and I'm 20, my fiance's 23, and it's just hard to imagine that, you know, everything we've worked so hard for, living paycheck to paycheck, is just gone without notice.
Or red flag warning stretching from the northern high plains to the southwest. Emergency crews on the scene of a deadly chemical leak in West Virginia. At least 2 workers killed, more than a dozen hospitalized. Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salungo.
Preliminary information indicates the site was in the process of shutting down its operations, and cleaning and decontamination activities were underway in preparation for the closure of that site.
Residents warned to shelter in place. President Trump calling Tuesday's referendum that passed in Virginia that will redistrict the state in favor of Democrats rigged. At least 5 other states have passed mid-decade redistricting favoring